And then I told her, no, I won't touch you there for $1.
Oh,
Dollar Gala. Hey everybody, what's going on? Thanks a lot for coming out, and I know some of you is coming over from Johnny's chat. That's awesome. And if you weren't at Johnny's chat, thanks for coming in and saying hi and being with us tonight. Um, so tonight we got Ohio Wolverine, as usual, like a sidekick on Friday nights.
That's right.
Uh, and tonight uh, we have we have Misfit with us, the Midwest Misfit with us,
Hello.
and we got the MI Woodsman. And if you're in Jamie time, better known as Miami.
yep. Yep.
So, and what I want to do tonight, guys, is just like echoing what those guys were saying. And we have a couple other invites coming, guys. I sent an invite out to Matt from Resist Attorney, and also Luke Banta. So they might stop in and say hi. But what I'd like to talk about is being preparedness. You know, are you prepared? Are you bugging in? You're bugging out. But it didn't have to go that far. It could be: do you have a car bag? Do you have and it doesn't have to be for a catastrophic shit hit the fan type deal. It could be for, are you taking a trip with the kids and the wife, or just the wife, or by yourself, and you're going to be traveling a few hundred miles, and you're going to be on desolate roads. Something happens with your car or your truck. Are you going to be able to? Do you have the means to survive the night, a day, whatever? You know what I'm saying?
I've got
So how about
a
it?
cell
You
phone at
guys,
AAA, so I'm good.
there you go. But like myself, for instance, I don't drive at work. Well, I do, but I'm out, so to speak, from drive. They won't let me drive for a little while at work. But when I do, when I go up north, I go up to the White Mountains in New Hampshire. Um, I carry an extra set of clothes. I have a backpack. I carry an extra set of clothes. Of course, I got a ferro rod in there. I have I got a small blanket in there, and I got 2 Snickers bars in there, um, just in case, because it's actually happened to me. You know, I was up there for 3.5 hours in a blizzard by
Especially
myself. Go
with
ahead,
the
Miss.
weather the way it is now, man. Especially this time of year. I don't know where yours is, but it's been like -10 here all week.
Oh yeah.
I
Well,
mean, just at least have some winter gear in your car, because how often are you just going like to and from work or doing your thing on the weekend? How often are you actually dressed to be exposed to the elements for any period of time? Like, yeah, you've got your coat on or whatever, but you can just regular jeans, regular shoes, maybe a t-shirt underneath. Keep some winter gear in your car. I mean, God forbid you got to walk a few miles down the road. You're going to be miserable.
right.
Yeah, I have a extra coat and actually extra hoodie, and then I have a pair of snow pants in my trunk of my car. I mean, it's not much, but it's something. Or
Right.
if my car breaks down and I have to walk a couple miles to a exit or a gas station or something like that, at least I got something I can put on and, you know, at least survive to get that mile and a half hike, when it's -10 below zero. You're not doing that in a pair of sweatpants and a hoodie.
Yep. Johnny, how about you?
I don't go nowhere.
No.
I don't work. I don't work out of the house. I mean, we go certain places, but I just did that get home bag there the other night. That video for Daryl.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
So I got a good little setup for me if I have to if I'm going to go somewhere, I can throw it in the back of the car and But it's 13 out right now. We got like a heat wave.
Yeah. It's about that here too. I even like like my wife, she doesn't think I'm on one of those nut job cases or anything like that. But I've been slowly but surely trying to get her to um, like join me in this being prepared as best we can. Um, so and she's been doing it. Each week she goes to the store, she'll get a couple more cans of soup. She'll get a couple more of these, or she'll get another 2.5 2.5 gallon boxes of water. So slowly but surely got her coming around. You know what I mean?
Yeah, my wife does a lot of that.
Yeah. I got 3 kids anyway, so I need food in my house all the time anyways.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, it's
See, now, my wife doesn't like canned vegetables. So when she cooks dinner and stuff, we usually eat either fresh vegetables or frozen vegetables. But I buy canned vegetables. So,
mhm.
every time I go to the grocery store, I'll buy a couple canned vegetables or whatever. And then we just keep them on the shelf. When you walk down the basement, we have a shelf in the basement at the bottom of the steps. It's
Yeah.
got canned vegetables, canned fruit. Like I said earlier, before we went live, I was eating a can of peaches. I've got
That's what he said. That's what he said he was eating.
yeah, a lot of slurping going on, right?
And that's got to be the easiest way to get started. I mean, you think
Right.
about it.
Yeah,
$2 $2 or $3 every time you go to the grocery
especially when you
store.
go to the grocery store and they got 10 for 10 or 2 for $1 or something like that.
I'm not asking her to go above and beyond. I'm not asking her to, and the other thing I make her do in the winter, in the wintertime, I make her carry because a lot of the time she's got the kids with her. So, and I say to her, I know that you don't go out as in more than, a 20-mile radius of the house, basically, without me really, you know what I mean? Um, but I say to her, you break down, and we have like our insurance company has like a AAA type thing where I can call them up and they'll come to us. Sometimes that's 2-3 hours. I goes, it's freaking zero out. You get the 3 kids with you. It's gonna be 2-3 hours, 2 hours, hour and a half. It's gonna get damn cold.
Yeah,
I said,
unless you're in an area to find shelter.
yep. I said, so I want you to at least have blankets, just to stay warm,
And some
Um,
granola bars or something
yep,
to keep the kids quiet for about an hour.
yep. And she does, so that's cool. Hey, Ohio, we were kind of remiss in doing this, so that's kind of my fault. But how far back can you go to see who's in the chat room with us tonight?
Oh, no problem. Let's see. I can go all the way back. I got Sickman 99, General
Yep, he
Banner,
was first. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
and my Woodsman, Skywarp 41, Big Glock Daddy, Knuckle Mac 33, Kelly Parks, I'm a Redneck Cockerham, Monitor 9, how many? Jack of all trades, but he's taking the hot dog to Tuna Town. Trunkback Jim, Mom Slayer's out there.
Yep. Hey, Mom, I sent you a knife today.
Johnny Master at Arms done. Hello, Johnny.
Johnny, you want on, brother?
And
Jerry Pruitt. Yeah.
Hey, Jerry.
And that's Johnny about all I see right now.
Cool. I want to thank everybody for stopping in and saying hi. That's awesome.
Along the same lines of every time you go to the grocery store, dropping $2 or $3 in cans in your cart. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you go to like a place like Myers or Walmart where they have an outdoor section, get the cheapest box of ammo that goes with a gun that you own as well. I mean, what? $12 for a box of 9mm at Walmart. If you got an AK, spend $5.50 for a 20-round.
9mm at Walmart now for $9.97 if you get that aluminum case, and it shoots damn good out of my guns.
If you've got an AR or an AK for $5.50, you can get a box of steel case 223 or a box of steel case 7.62 by 39. Just get one. Just get one every time you go grocery shopping. You'd be amazed how quick
that's how
it
I build up
stacks.
my 9mm.
It's
honestly.
stacks. You'd be amazed.
For me though, I can't. I mean, I can, but I don't have a handgun, so I would have to buy shotgun
Well,
ammo
there you go. You
and
buy a shotgun, Mike. You're
muzzle loader
spending.
ammo.
I tell you what I did
I mean, I got
during
my
the panic.
grandfather's. I got the Mauser. I got an 8mm Mauser, but I don't have a handgun. You know what I'm
I
saying?
tell you what, during the panic when all the rifle ammo, all the handgun ammunition disappeared, what I did is I'd go through and I'd get one of the 5-round boxes of buckshot, the 12 gauge 2 3/4 inch buckshot. They're like what, $4.50 a box.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And once again, you buy 1 or 2 of them every week. It's $4. You can throw $4 in the wind, and 2 weeks later you forget that you've done it.
Yeah.
Why not? It stacks up.
Hey, I quit smoking. I quit smoking 3 years ago.
I was just gonna say that.
So if I take what I spent on cigarettes and spend it on ammo, I mean that's why I don't do it every day, but I will buy a box of ammo a week. Easy. I'll buy a box of ammo a week, and it's $10. I mean that's how I mean I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I got 5 ammo cans full of nothing but 9mm. So and that's just my 9mm. So. Just real quick, Will Hornbuckle showed up out there. Shout out to him.
Just saw that. Yep.
I don't think we're having any giveaways tonight. I could be wrong, but Will's out there anyway. So thanks for showing support. Midwest, by the way, if you don't know Misfit, Will Hornbuckle, he does metal detecting videos and stuff like that, and he's got a pretty good channel. But he wins just about every contest anyone ever has. So
pretty much.
Well, that was you for a while, so I feel like you were on a hot streak there for a while.
Yeah, I was on a hot streak.
I win nothing, so I've just accepted that fate and I've moved on with my life. So I'm just happy for everyone else.
Yeah, you're right, Cherry. $20, 100 shotgun, the one you want anyway. Birdshot, buckshot, slugs. How can you go wrong? You can't.
But you also mentioned going to the outdoor area.
Yep.
I'm sorry, but Walmart has a clearance aisle. Just about every Walmart I've ever been to has some type of clearance area, and you can find camp matches. You can find tent stakes, all kinds of crazy stuff in there that got marked down and just moved over to that aisle that they didn't sell in the camping section or the outdoor section or tools.
Oh, in the clearance section at one of the Walmarts by my house right now is actually a bunch of AR-15 accessories. As I don't own an AR, so I have no reason to buy them. But there's like a bunch of like Black Hawk AR accessories that they have heavily marked down.
I was at a Walmart. I stopped at a Walmart on my way home on Monday, up near Mansfield, and I was surprised that they had SOG tactical vests and knee pads, elbow pads, helmet, a SOG helmet. I was like, this Walmart had enough stuff to make a tactical SWAT team.
There must be like an airsoft field or something around there that fuels.
I know there's a paintball field there, close there.
Oh, what is it up by Splatter Park?
Yes, it's one exit north of Splatter Park.
I'll bet it's to feed all the guys that go play paintball and airsoft up at Splatter Park.
Yeah, it's gotta be. It's gotta be.
But yeah, I was like, holy cow, you can buy a SOG tactical vest with your SOG knee pads and your SOG elbow pads and your helmet with like the little thing on the front of it, the mount where you can either put your night vision or your camera or something.
Yeah.
It almost looks like who was what is it, Delta Force helmets or whatever? That's what it looks like.
I tell you what, hold on, I'll go grab something. When they sold a bunch of that SOG gear around Christmas, I couldn't say no to something. Hold on.
But what's the?
So go ahead.
I was going to say, John, you said you don't go nowhere, so your plan's probably to bug in then, correct?
Yeah, I got a bug. I've got a bug, and I got a disabled son, and
right.
He's pretty much basically quadriplegic, and he weighs about 170 pounds, and he's 27 years old, and we got life support suction for him. So it's pretty tough. He gets fed through an IV bag into his stomach through a peg tube, and all his medicine goes through a peg tube because he's got a tracheotomy and he don't know good enough to swallow, and he's blind. So you got to be careful when you handle him because he's so brittle. His legs are about the size of my wrist.
Really?
But his torso is big. He's got a full-size torso. It's just from not using his legs and his arms being curled up, they're getting real skinny, see, because you don't use them for nothing.
Yeah.
And he can't talk and communicate with you. We can by telling the look on his face, or if he's smiling, or we can actually, after so many years, you'll learn them.
Not only
So
do
I'm
you have
here
to worry about shelter and stuff and bugging in and protecting your family, you also need some means of power source for electricity and such.
Yep, I'm working on a generator soon, I hope, and I have to fight to my death, man, for my family, basically. That's all I can do.
Right.
Unless you get burned out. If you get burned out, you got to go. I don't, but they'll just kill me, rape my wife, and throw my son in the front yard, and he'll die in a few hours, and so it's balls to the wall. I'm going to do whatever I can do to protect what I got. I just feel sorry for anybody that wants to cross that line. I tell you that.
Well,
Right.
Yep. Do what you got to do to survive, man, and take
Well,
care of family. That's what it's all about.
I got my own little arsenal of guns and a fair amount of ammo, and I got my prep I can. You're talking about the wives getting involved, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
My wife goes to and my oldest daughter goes too to help us out. They go to the food pantry every month.
Mm-hmm.
Some places have it at churches, but we got a regular place here in town that's called the food pantry. And they come back with over 2 banana boxes full of canned goods and pastas and powdered milk and all kinds of prep. I'm running out of room to put it. Over the last 2 years of them doing it, I got so much food I don't know what to do with it all. Just keep rotating it out,
Right.
Vegetables and fruits and plus what I can. I haven't canned in a while. I need to start canning some more.
Well, that's one thing you mentioned that I do too that's pretty important is rotating it out. When I buy the stuff, I put it in the back and move stuff up to the front because I will pull from it,
Right.
Sure.
There's no way you could just continuously save this food and
Exactly.
You gotta eat it and rotate it.
Yeah, you can't just buy it and stick it in the shelf and forget about it for 10 years. I mean, you could because it's technically it would still be edible probably, but it would loses its nutrition and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, Mike, do you have your camera selected on John?
Not anymore.
All right.
I did earlier because he was showing that knife and I forgot to unclick him.
All right, yeah, I think they were pointing that out in the chat, just making sure.
Yeah, I saw that. Thanks, brother. Yeah. So, and here's what other people that I seen what, and I'm not knocking anybody that did videos for bags and all that because, a person's bag is their person. That's their thing. You know what I mean? There's only one guy I saw that did a bag, and he said, "Oh yeah." And I'm one of these people that take, 9 medicines to stay alive. So, he's like me. I don't take them to stay alive, but, I'm on, 7 different things to take, for cholesterol and that happy bullshit. But I need them. So they're in the bag. You know what I mean?
See, now I'm lucky. I don't personally need any medications daily, but I do have an issue is I live with a type 1 diabetic. So that's a very, very big deal to take into consideration for that kind of stuff.
Right.
I'll tell you what, when it comes to diabetes, I take 10 different things a day.
Do you really?
No, I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it. I mean, I wouldn't doubt if she's at darn near that close a number.
6 of them twice a day. And I take a shot of insulin every night.
I say, well,
wow.
We have 3 different kind of insulins in the house, and that's on top of just the other baseline drugs that you just take as a diabetic.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you don't have high blood pressure, they have you take high blood pressure medication because they know it can just pretty much come on.
Yeah.
I don't have as serious as that. I just have your regular back issues, your cholesterol,
But that's a big
all that
issue,
stuff.
man.
But
You know?
what I do is, especially my back, though, if I don't take care of it, I'm screwed. But I'll tell you what I do, um, because it's not the 80s and the 90s anymore, and I don't need them to have fun. However, my mind says to me, if Johnny and I did it when I took my kid, I know I told you I took my kid way up to Maine,
Yeah.
and I took a bag and I told my wife where I was going and everything else, so she'd know. But you know what I put in my bag though, Johnny? I put, with my first aid kit,
Uh-huh.
I put my freaking pain meds in there.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, everybody's
Big
laughing at
deal.
me, Mike. You don't need pain meds.
Yeah.
And I go, what are you kidding me? I said, you cut your thumb, whatever, whatever. You're preparing your fire or whatever. You're cooking, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
You cut your thumb wide open. So
I got them my first aid kit, and then my regular meds I take when I go camping. I bring them. I got them all bagged up, man. You gotta have it.
What about your regular meds? How do you stockpile those for
You don't.
a prepping situation
You're
without
screwed.
breaking any laws or whatever? You know what I mean? Do you?
What? Oh,
Because your doctor's not going to give you. The doctor's not going to
got
give you a script to say, this is for my monthly, but I need this for my backup. They're not going to do that.
Well, what I do is, were you asking me or John? I'm sorry.
Well, I'm just asking in general.
Well,
I mean, I take 3 different types of meds. I'm in the same boat as you. I got the cholesterol, the blood pressure.
Mm-hmm.
Well, one's an aspirin. I can get those anywhere, but
what I do for my back, anyways. Okay, is I have a muscle relaxer, and I have pain meds. Okay, I suffer like a son of a bitch because I can't take the pain meds at work, anyways, especially when I go back to driving the truck. But I use machinery at work, and I can't take the pain meds while I'm at work because I can't take an aspirin without acting like a goofball. I'm just one of those guys who just can't take pills. You know what I mean? So I save them. I got 2-3 bottles of Vicodins this big, full, with my name on them. So it's not illegal. It's prescribed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they do expire.
You know.
All right, let's see what Midwest Misfit has here. He went away to get something.
Oh no, I was
just welcome Matt from Resist the Tyranny.
Yeah, that's what I was going to do that next. Matt, I want to say thanks for stopping in with us, and we were just kind of talking what you guys were over on Johnny's chat on the Conundrum. So thanks a lot for stopping in by.
Yeah, man. I thought maybe I'd drop in for a little bit before I went to bed, see what was happening, and join the conversation a little bit.
Cool. Go ahead, Misfit.
I was just saying they got all sorts of fun toys at Walmart now. You can get tomahawks and all sorts of fun crap.
Yeah, I got those.
Maybe they're like $15. How can you say no?
I think I paid $20 for mine last year.
Yeah, there you go. No, you got to have it. I mean,
you probably can't do any like real serious. I'm sure that the second you tried to do any like real serious work with this thing, it would break. But it'd probably be good for whacking at a motherfucker once or twice. Pardon my language.
Probably something you'd want a baton, that you'd want to save your knife with, that you would baton with your knife or something. You know what I mean?
I've seen a couple videos where guys put it to test, where they actually go out and take some limbs down with it and chop up some firewood.
So they're not that flimsy.
Throw it in a 2x4, make it stick from 20 yards away. So.
Yeah, well, that's good.
But I just drew a mind blank. My bad. I can't believe it's Friday. That's why it does it to me. Oh, Matt, I got a question for you, if you don't mind, sir.
What's up?
Okay, so on Johnny's chat, when you guys were talking about the quote-unquote alphas and all that, and Johnny did read off what I wrote in the chat room about, the head coach of the football team is sort of the alpha because all the people underneath have to listen to him. And I get the fact that that you do want alphas on your like you guys were explaining, like the 5 years with and I understood all that. But my point is that at some point in time, okay, I feel anyways, I'm not saying it would, but I feel that the human element's going to take over, and that in some point in time, there will be a, what's the word I'm looking for?
An
What's the
uprising.
word? No, not an uprising, but like there will be a
Butting of heads.
but butting of heads, and I'm not saying everybody's going to agree all the time, anyways. But as is for the, just for the quote unquote the alphas, as you guys were talking about earlier. So I just feel as though that at some point in time, someone somewhere along the line is just going to think, because people in general are going to go, hey, what can we do now? Or what can we? So people in general are going to go and ask that specific person. Am I right on that? Or
Well, I mean, if there's like the hierarchy that we were speaking of course there'd be a person that, and I'll just use this panel just like we were using the panel, in Johnny's chat. If Mike, let's say you were let's say we were bugging out at your house, and so out of respect for you and you opening your home to us, you were by default the guy we went to. It was, hey Mike, we're going to do this. Hey, what about this? What do you think about that? That doesn't make us any less alphas, or that doesn't make us any less qualified to do something. But let's just say you're put in that position where you're the leadership position, okay, for that reason. I don't. I think the problem, if you ran into a problem with us butting heads with you, I think it would be because, more than likely, I think it would be because one of us felt like we should be in that position, whether it's and I'm getting a little tired and kind of talked out a little bit tonight, but whether it's an insecurity thing for us, for the person that's doing that, or whether they're the asshole. Again, I don't think alpha means asshole.
I was going to say, I'd almost argue that the whole alpha and beta analogy when it comes to like human interaction is almost too basic of an analogy. There's more than just one alpha and the rest are betas when it comes to human relationships. Like there are varying degrees of alpha as opposed to varying degrees of beta. I don't know if that makes sense. Whereas you can have betas to a degree, you can have alphas to a degree. It
depends on your skill set, like they were talking before.
Right. But like T.I. was saying,
if we're getting ready to go up against another group of people for some type of, defense or whatever, and you got, people that are, experts in warfare and weapons, those are your alphas at this time. But if you are, people are hungry and you got a guy that, was a farmer and he knows how to farm compared to these, other people in the group, it's time for him to step up and be that alpha.
Right.
You have to be able to, share that role.
Well, like even now, if you were going to redo your kitchen cabinets, okay, you're not going to hire a plumber to do it. So
right.
If you got somebody in your group that has a special, but I mean, I totally agree with what T.I. was saying. You don't want, somebody that's gonna, or I think it might have been John that said wussify it. You know what I mean?
But if you got shit hitting the fan plumber's not a bad thing to have around.
Right.
Uh,
Go ahead, Matt.
I think, well, what I really think would happen is I don't think, and I could be totally off here, but I don't really think that given a shitheads fans situation, and you have a room full of alphas or a camp full of alphas, I really don't think that you're going to have a leadership position. There may be somebody that people just naturally look up to,
Mm-hmm.
but I think with a group full of alphas, everybody will know what they're good at, and the end result will be the more important thing, not who's calling the shots.
Exactly.
Yeah, at the end of the day, living is more important than getting
Exactly.
to wave your fucking dick around and feel like a big man. You know?
And you'll probably be more likely to, hey, let's take it to a vote.
Mm-hmm.
You got 10 guys, and you have to decide if you want to do it this way or this way. Show of hands, who wants to do it this way?
Right.
Let's,
You go with the majority, or you go by yourself and try to survive.
it's not the best way to settle things,
No, but
but it's the most common way for humans. How many times do you take a vote for things just in general? I mean, we learned it as kids, as playing hide and go seek. How many want to play hide and go seek compared to kickball? You take a vote. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, stuff like that.
right. All right, and I mean, it's like Matt said, for the better good of that cause, for the better good of staying alive, and that. I don't. I was just wondering if you know what I mean. I would hope to think that wouldn't happen. Believe me, I don't want to be in a camp, if you will, if you want to call it a camp, whatever the terminology you want to use. I don't want to be involved in that situation with like you guys were saying, with people with the egos and that, task at hand, survive.
I think Jerry Pruitt just put it really well out in the chat. He goes, not so much alphas as it more like the American Indians would do, where you'd have a group of elders, where you'd have a group of several people that would make decisions. Trusted individuals in their group that you have rolled amongst themselves.
That's a good way of putting it.
I mean, if you have, if you have a group of 5 people and one of them is a survival specialist, I mean, just by chance that happens, it's going to be natural that everybody kind of looks up to that person because they're going to have more answers than you're going to have. But at the same time, with a group of leaders or a group of alphas, you're going to be able to have still the independent thought process when it comes to getting a job done. Like you're not going to have to look to that survival specialist to figure out where to stack the wood, or
gather water or
gas. Right.
Yep. I mean, you're gonna do what you're.
I see the alpha male being a problem when it comes to self-survival. You know what I mean? If your own survival depends on it, are you going to step up and overpower that other alpha male that's in your, that's taking disregard of your safety or what? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of, when it comes down to it, that it's either going to be you or me situation. That could be the only problem I see with a group of so-called alpha males. Or, like I said before, you guys kept talking about alpha males. Where's the females in your community? What happens when you have a group of alpha males all competing for the same companion of a female?
I don't even know where to start with that.
I mean, look at caveman days. You know what I'm saying? I mean, just because we're in a shit hits the fan situation, sexual needs and desires, people are still going to go about them. I mean, you watch Walking Dead and they're screwing over in a corner.
You have to kind of be like the wildlife, be the big buck and scrap your way to it.
Right. But like like Matt said, they'll be listening to them first anyways before we listen to other man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we're all alphas until we're told to do the dishes or to do the laundry.
Absolutely. Yeah. Hey, why don't you go collect wood? Why don't you shut the hell up and you're gonna I can just see it now, you know what I mean?
Fucking legs, bro.
Exactly, right?
I'm the Omega. I don't know what y'all are talking about.
Right? I mean, hey, just like at home, right? But Matt, before you got here, we were talking, even if and I know you guys touched on it, even if it wasn't, the true, shit hit the fan scenario. Like for me, I got in one snowstorm, I got 34 inches of snow. So for that moment, that's my shit hit the fan situation. And I got my shit out. I wrote this in the chat in the other chat, but I got my shit out. I had everything I needed ready, and I was talking to a couple of guys at work, and they were like, "Mike, da 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 da," and so I explained everything to them, and and of course, they're, well, what are you, one of those wackos? Like, no, I'm just one of those people that have a family that doesn't want to have any issues if something happens. I'm trying to one up the problem.
But these are the same people that whine profusely the first time the power goes out for 48 hours.
And that's exactly what happened, Misfit. They lost their power. All right, we go back to work. Oh, it's cold at my house. We lost power. And I got I got the food, but I go, weren't you the guy making fun of me? I goes, no, don't look for pity here. You ain't getting any. I tried to help you long before this happened, but I do it for storms. Not that I don't do it for the shit at the fan, but you know what I'm saying? For the environmental, anything.
Well, I mean, in all reality, you're far more likely to need it for a storm or environmental issue than you are for a shit hits the fan scenario.
Absolutely. I think obviously that'll come before. Not that the other one's not going to come, but I think that's going to come first. But
well, the whole reason I started doing anything, and of course, people watch Doomsday Preppers and stuff like that, and it's like, oh, I should do that. But then you got the whole bit of society that think you're crazy for doing it, and and you kind of get laughed at. But I mean, I'm not Doomsday Prepper, but I'm sure Matt and Midwest both know exactly what I'm talking about. When a couple years ago in Ohio, it was like 105 degrees for like 3 weeks straight, and we had no power, and the entire state was out of power for like 3 weeks.
Yeah, was that when we had the remnants of that hurricane blow through and everyone lost power?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was fun. Actually, I didn't lose power, and I had friends coming over to take showers all week long and do their laundry. That was a fun.
We did lose power, and we were out of power for 2 or 3 weeks, and a bunch of trees were blown down. My town was a complete mess, and like a 2-block radius of where I live, the moment the rain stopped, everybody was out there with chainsaws and generators and hand saws. We cleared the road, we cleared yards, we cleared front yards and backyards, and 2 people that lived down the road from me started cooking, and that's what we did for like 2 or 3 weeks. Is she cooked for all of us, we worked the neighborhood, and that was it.
That's the one thing. I know you just moved out of Northwest Ohio, and literally I live in Central Ohio. Northwest Ohio is one of the most boring places on earth. There's nothing to do there. It is flat in every direction as far as the eye can see, and the weather is terrible. But it houses some of the greatest human beings on the face of the planet. Like, the people up there are just like amazing salt of the earth, would like give you the shirt off their back humans. Like, it's amazing. I think my sister lives up there now. She married into a family up in the Findlay area, and it's just like everyone up there is fucking awesome.
Well, I can tell you, I got family down in Chillicothe, Ohio, and they suck down there. But that's just my opinion.
That's Southern Ohio. You know, there's actually a term. There's actually a term in Ohio, and it's south of 70. Once you get south of 70, shit gets interesting real quick.
Yeah, that ain't no.
But you know, Matt, when you touched on that, I'm sorry, Ohio. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, there's a lot of good people in southeastern Ohio.
Oh no, I love Southern
but
Ohio.
I'm in
Beautiful. I'm just talking crap. And my family's from West Virginia.
northeastern Ohio, so I'm up between Akron and Cleveland. So I got a bunch of assholes by me, to be honest with you. Everybody's in their own world, and whatever they're doing is more important than what everybody else is doing.
Oh, so how's your commute? So when are you driving home this morning?
I don't go. I stay down here all week, bud. I come down Thursday, then I leave Monday morning.
Gotcha. I was gonna say, because your drive was gonna suck if you had to drive home this morning. Ooh, it's gonna suck.
It's been sucking every Monday morning. If you haven't noticed, every Monday we've had like snowstorms and everything else. So
supposed to get another 6 inches tonight, I guess.
6 to 8 inches tonight. Yeah.
We're getting rain too, and then ice, and then snow, and it's gonna be a disaster.
Yeah, it's going in reverse for us. We're gonna get 6 to 8 inches of snow, and then it's gonna ice for a while, and then so that'll be fun. And it's just whatever. It's basically.
Let's just go ahead. Let's just go ahead and get this out of the way so we can get to hate. Hey Matt, what's the temperature like in Arizona tonight?
Oh, don't ask him that.
I don't know what it is right now.
Temperature is.
I don't know what it is right now, but it's probably around 70.
Oh, gee, bummer.
But it's a dry 70.
You know, Matt, I do want to ask you a question on that. When you were talking about when you were down there for Katrina, and I don't mean just for another type of environmental shit at the fan situation, or maybe another one like that. Let's just say something like that happened in my area, Boston, New York City, where there's more people than there are in Louisiana. Would that stuff, like you had mentioned, bringing your shotgun to the grocery store and to the gas station and all that, would that be magnified by about 100 in areas like that?
I would most certainly say so. I mean, I can't remember the exact size of Baton Rouge where I was living, but it's a college town. It's the capital. It's a big city, but I would most certainly I would think it'd be far worse than what it was that I witnessed in Baton Rouge. Just because of the magnitude of people. You know, and to top it off, to top it off, New Yorkers are pissed off anyway. So.
Well, yeah, I mean, they're a weird, you know.
Oh, man. One of my good friends is from New Jersey. He's the most angry person I've ever met. He hates everything and everyone. I love him to death, but he is literally he's the angriest person I've ever met in my life.
You can tell.
But I would say if something like that happened on a scale, on a Katrina scale that affected that area the same way it affected the New Orleans, southern Louisiana, southern Mississippi area, I would most certainly say you could expect to see much worse than what I saw. Yeah.
I mean, and you know, like Misfit was just saying about Northern Ohio, that shit don't happen. Not in New York City anyway, neither in Boston, for that matter. Unfortunately, and shit, I'm 30 miles north of Boston, but you know, here's how bad they are up here. If I let somebody out of a street You know, yeah, go ahead, buddy. Come on, or let somebody out of the mall parking lot or something. Okay, you got the guy behind you flipping you off, you asshole. I'm in a rush. Don't you know my time's more important than what the hell you're doing? And it's horrible. So I can only imagine if something that bad hit up here. I mean, there'd be a lot of murders. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I remember sitting in the gas station, in the line at the gas station, waiting to get gas, and gas stations all over the place were running out of fuel, and I guess I'd been sitting in line for probably about 45 minutes, and the guy in front of me, or two guys in front of me, used the last of the gas in that pump.
Oh.
Ran out on him. The guy behind him, the guy in front of me, got out of his car, grabbed the nozzle, and started beating the guy with the pump nozzle. Like it was his fault
That he ran out of gas.
that it ran out of gas.
Sure.
Now, that's just insanity to me. I mean, really? And that's Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I can only imagine what some place like Boston or New York would be like.
I wouldn't even want to imagine what my city would be like. I mean, I live in a metro area of about 1 million people. I couldn't fucking imagine what it would be like. I mean, Central Ohio is a pretty friendly area, but
Nope, sorry.
you know, well, where you're at, come on, you're on the east side. That's not fair. That's not fair. I live with like polite society on the west side of Columbus. You're over. Let's not talk about that. But yeah, I wouldn't even want to imagine it.
Johnny,
I'd say I'm heading west as fast as I can. The second shit goes down, I'm getting the fuck out of this city. I'll tell you that right now.
Johnny, how about you up there in your great state of Michigan? Would that happen up there?
What's that, Mike?
If something like if a Katrina, but only during, let's say, a snowstorm or something, hit up there, because you guys don't get that kind of weather. But would that, or do you guys have nice people up there, like Northern Ohio?
I live in a little town. South of us is a big town, like the third biggest city in the state, Grand Rapids. And I could see down there being just nuts normally. Ignorant people and rude, no respect. You know, that's why I can't live in the city. I can't tolerate it. Pretty mellow around here.
I don't like Grand Rapids.
We don't have no McDonald's or Burger Kings or nothing like that here. No Walmarts. Just a little town.
I wish I lived there.
And it's still too damn big of a town for me.
Well, I'm trying to convince the wife to go to northern Maine with me and find a town of about 300 people in it, 400 people in it, and she won't go.
Yeah, I'd like to go up to the UP.
You know.
I've been through Grand Rapids many times. Not a fan.
No.
I do like Michigan, though. I in general, I like the state. And
yeah, it's nice. I like it.
As long as you stay away from Detroit and Lansing and a couple other cities, it's not a bad place.
No.
Yeah, my brother-in-law lives in Grosse Pointe.
Yeah.
And it's just like one of the nicest neighborhoods you've ever seen. Smack dab in the middle of the Detroit hood, you know?
Yeah.
And they got like the wagons circling constantly, you know, you got the, 50 cop cars constantly driving around this little part of town that's, Americana, USA.
Yeah, once you get up north of like Flint, Saginaw, once you get up north of there, there's no more really metropolitan cities left. It's all just smaller towns, pretty much. I mean, there's some, mediocre, but there ain't no high rises or none of that shit going on. It's all. Then you get up in the UP, then it's sweet.
I mean, even me, I live next door to a major city, and I mean, I got 35,000 people live in my town, and the next door to me's got a couple 100,000 people in it. And that's just.
So I live on the outskirts of Tucson. Tucson has about 520,000 people. But where I live in is an area called Marana, which is north of Tucson. I do have a Tucson address, but it's not really in Tucson.
Right.
So really, I mean, I'm on the very edge of desert. I go north just a little bit, and I'm in the middle of nowhere.
That's cool too.
Yeah.
You know, when you can get
That's
away.
one plus. I do live 10 minutes away from one of the biggest national forests in the state. The only downfall, I think, in Michigan is you're surrounded by so much water. You can't just skip across and jump into Wisconsin or, Canada.
Right.
You got to cross the big bridge up north, or you got to go down through Indiana or Ohio.
Now, what do you, when you guys, all right, so let me ask you this. So as I told you, I got the wife coming on board with me, so to speak, with the prep and stuff, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to lay off of her, but yet I don't want to overwhelm her at the same time.
Yeah.
Ever been in that position?
Yeah, at first it was kind of like that, but after she started seeing the reasoning, and I'm kind of glad she's a little bit of a hoarder when it comes to that stuff. So like I said, I got more canned goods and pasta mixes and powdered milk, and I got so many preps from her going to the food pantry every month and just bringing home, like I said, a couple good banana boxes heaping full of food, and we only eat maybe a third of it right away, and the rest of it goes into cold storage.
Because I mean, I really don't have a place to go.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a 30-foot trailer up north in New Hampshire, but it's not north enough. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. If I get to the bug out situation, I don't know what I'm going to do.
I would have to stay. I would assume.
In my situation, I have no choice. Like I said, I got to just fight till I'm dead. Unless they burn us out, then I'll have to take a disabled son out of his bed and get him out of the house, and the wife, and the dogs. But other than that, I gotta stay here. He needs his equipment, his life support. I'm in a tough spot right now.
Yeah, that sucks. I've been there, brother. But so, cause like I don't want to be like, cause Johnny, but I don't think the other guys on the panel and the people in the chat room know. Actually, Johnny Master Arms knows. But I'm just getting back into all this stuff, and I, Matt, I found your chat a while back and just started watching it, and then of course that led me into David's and all that and everything else. But and Luke's. But when you guys were talking earlier tonight about you don't want to be those people that get caught basically with their pants down if something happened.
Yeah.
And the first night I heard that, I think you and Luke were talking about it, or I don't know how it went, but at any rate, I decided then I don't want to get caught my pants down.
No.
And but like I said, I got young kids, and for myself and my wife anyways, but I don't want to be, what the hell am I going to do? What am I going to, where are we going to, how are we going to live? How are we going to, I don't want to be that guy.
Well, it's real simple, Mike. We raise taxes to take care of the people that don't end up prepping on their own, and we take care of those. Right, Justin?
Justin, how are you? Good to see you made it, brother.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
No problem, brother.
Yeah, I totally agree, Ohio. Any form of security the government can provide by taxing is A-okay with me.
All right. I had to get you in the conversation. Yeah, I understand what you're talking about, Mike. I mean, Yeah, that's the whole thing. That's why I brought up the whole storm in Ohio. I mean, I didn't want that to happen again. Like Matt said, they were cooking. That's what we did. Our neighborhood, we all had deep freezes out in our garage full of food going bad.
Mm-hmm.
So we ate, it was like Meat Lovers Convention of Ohio 2012.
Mm-hmm.
It was we had ribs, we had chicken, we had burgers, we had steaks, we had all kinds of stuff, and we just cooked everything out on a grill and put it in aluminum foil pans, and people hung out, and we built a big campfire, and everyone just that's how we did it. We didn't have nothing else to do, so that was our form of entertainment and getting by.
Yep. Where I grew up, I was about 15 miles north of Boston in a town probably of 20,000, and we had a flood, and back in the early 90s, with a ton of rain, absolute ton of rain, and there's a brook that runs behind our house, and in my area there's a lake, a small lake. You guys would call it a pond because it's tiny, but anyways, they call it a lake. Well, every river and stream around there overflowed. Basements got flooded, so that meant heat went off in the whole night. And this was long before I even thought of worrying about what if. But what I thought was cool, my street alone anyways, we did that, Ohio. They all made potluck dinners or what have you. We all went out in the street because it was October, so it wasn't too cold. And we did that. We all took care of each other, and we all helped each other take this shit out of their basements that got destroyed and the whole nine. And then we all started getting flood insurance. But unfortunately, like I've been talking with my brothers about if something happened, and I got two brothers that said, we could band together. So there's, there'll be strength in numbers anyways. If something does happen, I won't be alone. Not that I'm not going to be with my wife and kids, but, alone, you know what I'm saying? So we'll see.
What and I don't know, since I'm so new to this area, but Justin, is there any real natural disasters here other than maybe the monsoon season?
No. I mean, I guess unless you count drought, like I guess if the San Andreas Fault was to let loose, we're actually not that far from it. I think Tucson is only like less than 150 miles from it as the crow flies.
What about like dust bowl situations or whatever?
Yeah, I was going to ask, would it be a sandstorm or something? I'm not being funny, but does that go that far to where you guys are?
Yeah, we get like some sandstorms and stuff. They're not, I don't know, I've never seen them where they're unbearable. The worst I've seen, you can still go out in them. You want to wear some glasses or eye protection or something like that, but
right.
But it's not like
it's not like they're
outside and
it's
rip
not going
your
to
skin off.
cause.
Yeah, exactly. It's not ripping your skin off or anything.
The general struggle of the desert is probably just water in general. Just like knowing where the water is. I mean, because if man-made, like not man-made water, but man-supplied water, once that shuts down, it's going to get kind of interesting in certain areas of Arizona, especially up in like Phoenix and shit. Get really interesting.
Yeah, for sure.
But out in that area, if you guys do get a lot of rain or whatever, you guys got to deal with a lot of flooding too, though, right? Like the washes and stuff really get bad when you do get a lot of rain.
Yeah, I mean, if we get an inch of rain in a day, everything's flooded out. You can't drive anywhere.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it doesn't soak into the ground. It just all the ground's so hard packed, it just runs off.
Runs off, yeah. That sucks.
Just like when me and Matt were going bowling a couple weeks ago, I fucking flooded my engine out. Well, not my engine, my spark plugs out. Had to freaking stop and wash my spark plugs off because I was trying to haul ass through the washes in order to not get stuck. But
Nothing better than putting that big old spray of water up underneath. I've done that before. It sucks.
Yeah. At least it was only the spark plugs and not the distributor cap or anything like that.
Yep.
What were you going to say, Matt? I kind of cut you off there.
Yeah, I know. Oh, just that I was really surprised coming from a place where it rains a lot throughout the year, on how little rain it takes here for it to start flooding, and the amount of areas that get flooded in that small amount of rain. That was one thing about the rains here that did surprise me.
I got a question. Is that because you guys? I'm not being funny. I'm being serious. Is it because that area is like in a bowl, so to speak, or I don't know. I'm asking a question. Is it landscape?
Yeah,
Landscape, is that why it does that to you guys?
yeah, I mean, basically, Tucson sits in, like, I guess you could call it the Santa Cruz River Valley. There's a small river. It used to run year-round until about 1960. They started pumping too much water out of the ground, and then the river doesn't run year-round anymore. But the river stretches from Mexico all the way up here north of Tucson. So, I mean, you pretty much have 100 miles of area that all floods into one river. So no matter where it rains in that 100-mile stretch, it's going to flood the Santa Cruz River. And then once those washes start going, I mean, you can get rains up on the mountains, like on the east side of the valley, and that'll flood out every single wash on the whole east side of the valley. Even though you're not getting rain, all the washes and everything, you're still crossing roads and stuff like that.
Wow.
But yeah, so much rock and hard-packed soil just keeps it from absorbing into the ground.
And something I've noticed a big difference from like Northwest Ohio and here is the drainage ditches. While there's lots of man-made waterways here. Anybody from the Midwest, or I'm assuming the Northeast also, every road has at least one ditch next to it, if not on each side of it.
Absolutely.
And it's not so much like that here. I mean, you can go down any number of roads, and it's just flat ground on each side.
Yeah, you have to have those, especially up here with the hurricanes and everything like that. There's actually, wow, let me see. We have a couple roads, man. I swear to God, there has to be about 30 of them on there. Because it just won't go anywhere else.
You got these farm roads in Ohio, and I'm not kidding you, and Matt will vouch. I mean, you have ditches on either side of the road that are 8-10 foot deep, going off these fields for field drainage. Because if not, it would just literally just be a foot of water across the road every time it rained, draining off these fields.
Now, is it people out, Matt and Justin, are the people out there that in that area that get, like when we have coastal flooding here, people's literally, I don't know if you've ever seen it on the news, literally their homes wind up in the friggin' ocean. Is it bad like that? Do people lose their homes?
Yeah, sometimes.
That's
I mean, you pretty much know where the water's going to flow, but I mean, when you get a big storm, it can erode quite a bit of dirt away. Let's say there's a curve in the wash or something, the outside berm, you might get a big storm and, maybe a foot of the berm washes away, and you might get a big storm and 100 feet of the berm washes away and carries 3 fucking houses along with it, But a lot of the stuff in the city, they have like concrete on the sides of the washes. it actually exacerbates the flooding, but at least it doesn't erode the dirt away. It kind of makes all the water flow down faster and farther because it's less dirt to absorb into, but it does keep a lot of the houses from being washed away, I guess.
I got another question about the what ifs. If you were the person that's gonna bug out, how far should your place that you're gonna bug out be from where you are? Is there like a certain?
I think I would answer that with a question being where's your starting point?
Would be from, like, well, let's say, well, again, I would probably have to bug in, but let's just say I was going to bug out just for sake of argument. I'm at my home here in Mass, on the Mass and New Hampshire border. I don't want to go to the metropolis area that I'm in, so I would have to go north. Technically, I can go west too, but north would probably be better.
Like, I guess what I'm saying is like for me, there's a few not major roads in this area where I'm at that I could take to get out to the middle of the desert. I know where Justin lives. He's in an even better boat than what I'm in as far as something like that goes. But people in the middle of Tucson, they're trapped. I mean, you talk about traveling to a bug out location. You're going to have to be in the process of traveling by the time you need to bug out. Otherwise, the roads are going to be closed down. You're not going to take the interstate, and major city roads are going to be clogged with traffic. So, I mean, the distance. I guess the simplest answer to your question, in my opinion, is the distance you travel is the distance you can travel.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I have a bug out spot a quarter mile from my house. Then I have another one about 5 miles from my house. And I have one about 15 from my house. And so on, pretty much. So I could be to a fairly permanent bug out location in a 3-day hike if I had to hike it, But then a more permanent bug out location, let's say if I am able to drive, it's going to be a couple 100 miles away. But, there's spots that I know of all along that route that I could make work,
Right.
Because who knows how far you're going to be able to get.
Well, and that's my question, because I'm on a interstate, and not right on it, but I'm about 5 miles off of an interstate, and I got a highway route that runs. It's not an interstate, but it's the highway run road that runs right by my house. Because I'm 2 miles from the New Hampshire border. But I have to drive through too many busy towns, so to speak, populated areas, so to speak, to get to where I wouldn't have that traffic issue. You know what I mean? Probably another reason why I would have to stay where I am.
See, ideally, I think, and this is something I thought about, because I had spots picked out back in Ohio, and I lived where my house was. It was another 2 blocks to the interstate, and then right across the other side of the interstate was the country, was woods and fields and farmers and all that. But I guess, part of me says don't bug out too far from the city, because you're going to have to rely on some of the things that are in that city to be able to go scavenge. if you're out in the middle of the absolute middle of the woods, unless you are 100% perfectly capable of sustaining yourself in the middle of the woods for the rest of your life, you're going to have to scavenge something somewhere at some point in time. And if you're 100 miles from civilization, well, good luck.
Yeah. And you hear a lot of people talk about, bugging out and living off the land and hunting deer and squirrel and stuff like that. I've seen more deer and squirrel in the suburb where I live now than I ever did when I lived in the country. So when everyone's bugging out, I'm going to be slingshotting me some squirrels from my bedroom window and from the second story,
Urban deer, as I call them, urban deer. Yep.
I
Yeah,
took the
see,
dog out
now,
the other night.
I
And,
mean, sorry, Ohio,
go
go
ahead,
ahead.
Justin.
I got a delay.
I was just saying, I took the dog out the other night, and he started sniffing in the air and acting all funny, and I was like, what the hell, and he wasn't doing his business, and it was like 5 below zero, so I was kind of in a hurry. And I finally seen what he was sniffing at. There's a buck, and it snorted at us, and we have 2 pine trees in our backyard, and it was standing right between those 2 pine trees, like wondering what the hell I'm doing, as I'm wondering what the hell it was doing. And then it snorted at us and then took off, and of course the dog went crazy wanting to chase it. But yeah, it's probably the biggest deer I've seen in probably 10 years, and it was in my backyard in a suburban area.
Yep. And lots of reasons for that, but I know up here the snow is killing them. So what I was thinking
if you're in the desert, I think I can, survive indefinitely as long as you have water. Most people don't realize it, but I've said this a few times on a few different chats, but the Sonoran Desert has more edible wild plants than any other ecosystem on Earth. Literally, like 90% of the plants here are edible, and there's a lot more plants than you would think, it being a desert. And most people have no fucking idea. Like, if you had a spot out in the middle of the desert that had a little water hole, or like an old, like a lot of the ranchers around here, because it's all free range, a lot of the ranchers have like a little water trough set up with a well that's run on solar, and those things are all over out in the desert. If you got control of one of those things, I mean, you could pretty much live in the desert indefinitely and not have to worry about food or anything, for the most part.
It's also what you're accustomed to too. Someone like me, I'm not accustomed to that lifestyle out there. You're not accustomed to the lifestyle where I live. You know what I mean? It's like if you're going to pick a bug out place, don't pick something so far out of your area of knowledge. Also, kind of is what I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to live in the desert, so I'm not going to pack my family up and head out west.
Yeah, and the best place to be out here would be somewhere near the mountains, but still in the desert. That way you could have that transition zone. You could go up into the mountains during the heat of summer and down into the desert during the winter. If you get that elevation change, at least in this area, that's where you got the best chance of surviving off the land. And I just think it's so hot, the environment's so hostile around here. Like, I see, like, a lot of people back east or in the Midwest and things like that. I see, like, a lot of people that would bug out, go camping in the woods, basically. I don't see a lot of people thinking about bugging out into the desert around here.
Right.
I think the desert's still going to be pretty isolated, and you're really not going to have a lot of people coming across your camp if you had a camp out in the desert.
Well, my experience, which is nothing compared to Justin's, but when I do go hiking or go out in the desert for whatever reason, I've noticed that like every plant is designed to injure you. They all have like thorns this big growing off of them, And then there's, of course, the cactus. I mean, just every plant is designed to inflict pain. You don't want to touch any of them.
That's their sign saying, "Don't fucking eat me. I'm not
Well,
edible," or leave me
No,
alone.
no, that's the thing. That's how they have to protect themselves because they
That's what I
are
mean,
all
yeah.
edible.
Yeah,
That's
it's
the only way
poison.
that they don't just get completely fucking eaten by every animal out there is because they have
Right.
thorns on them.
Wow.
Normally
Yeah,
for
well-
poison, it's brightly colored is what you look out for when it comes to like
Oh,
berry.
and then you got the animals. And then you got the rattlesnakes and scorpions, and if it's not the plant, it's the animal. I mean, Justin's right when he said hostile environment. It's not the people. Mother Nature's a hostile bitch out here.
Especially
Yeah,
coming
Yeah,
from
for sure.
where you came
That's
from.
why I feel fairly comfortable
I would.
in
I
some
would-
kind of economic collapse situation. You know, everybody's starving. I just don't see them attempting to try to make it out in the desert. I just don't see it.
I would say, as far as pure weather goes, I'd honestly argue that we have it worst here in the Midwest, just because we have the extremes of it can be 116 degrees in the summer and it can be, negative 20 in the winter. The only advantage we have is the availability of water, obviously, as opposed to Arizona. At least in Arizona, yeah, it gets freaking hot, but at least you stay a little more moderate throughout the rest of the year. Sorry, I got a cat attacking me right now.
Yeah,
No,
that's
I thought that tail was a rattlesnake. I was going to say, hey, we're in Ohio. We don't have those up this far north.
yeah. I don't think dealing with scorpions and rattlesnakes and I'm sure the sand fleas up the wazoo too. So
Actually, I've been told several times there's not fleas here. Is that true, Justin?
There's what?
Not fleas here.
Not many, man.
Really?
Hardly. Yeah, hardly. Or ticks. I've never seen a fucking tick here.
really,
Yeah, ticks are a big issue
Never.
here. We actually do have rattlesnakes here in Ohio. We have
Oh, I
timber
know, but
rattlers.
yeah,
There's
we have
some-
rattlesnakes in Massachusetts too, but they're way out by the New York border. But we have shit. We got fleas on the friggin' beaches, for Christ's sake, on the ocean beaches.
Well, that's
You
because
know?
the people that live up there.
Yeah,
No,
those sand
stop.
fleas are nasty. No thanks.
Bostonians are alright. Come on now.
Hey, we have a and
Just
Misfit
don't-
Fight is exactly what I'm talking about. About every summer after they open it, a week after they open the beach in this particular park, they have to close it down to de-lice it and get rid of all the fleas and
Right.
stuff.
People are
Yeah.
nasty.
You know, I mean, mass isn't bad. You just can't own a gun. Well, you can, but you get told what you can own and what you can put in it. And, all that, but other than that, and who doesn't love 10 feet of snow? You know?
Yeah,
I
but
was-
if you're in Arizona, you can do live chats from your bathroom.
Right. I was kind of hoping to send out, I don't know, maybe 8 out of the 10 feet of snow I got out to Arizona, dumping in Justin's backyard and Matt and Andrea's yards. Hey, you guys here have a snowball fight,
Yeah, that's the best thing.
grew
You
up
always get.
with it. No, thank you.
Matt's like, you keep that shit there.
Now, when it
Although
snows up
this
on the
winter-
mountain, we'll always go grab a truckload of snow and bring it back. And man, that brings out every single kid in the neighborhood. At least when I used to live in town, I'd make a slide going down the driveway, little jump off the curb. Every single fucking kid in the neighborhood would be out there.
Yep. That's cool.
Yeah, there was
What
a
is this
snowman. There was a snowman in the neighborhood this winter. Somebody had gone up to the mountain and got a truckload of snow and made a snowman in their front yard.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
And that's how I like snow. I like snow when I can visit it, not when it comes to see me. I like to go
Yeah.
see it when I want to.
I'll
I
tell
think the snowman that my kids built in October is probably still there.
you. Exactly.
I do remember one of the coolest things I ever did was in August one time we went to Mount Rainier in Washington and going up to the snow line in August, like standing in like snow in 80-degree weather in August. It's just weird. Strange.
Well, that's when I was coming back from San Diego. I flew out to San Diego, picked up a buddy of mine who'd gotten out of the service, and we packed up his truck and put his bike on a trailer and drove from San Diego back to Northwest Ohio. And it was like 80 degrees or something in San Diego. One of our gas stops was in Flagstaff, Arizona. Now, this is my first Arizona experience. And we were dressed for the trip. Shorts, flip-flops, tank tops. Flip-flops weren't on most of the time, barefoot in the truck and all that. We got out at this gas station. I had no clue my feet were going to freeze to the ground when I got out. I'm like, we're in Arizona. How cold could it be, really? Oh.
Well, the other night.
Flagstaff is a real nice town during the summer.
The best was last April, leaving Ohio when it was like shit cold. And getting out of the car in southern Missouri, it's like 80 degrees outside. Like, oh my God, it's amazing.
That was awesome, wasn't it, man?
That was like, the air feels like butter.
You should have seen us, guys. When we took off out of Ohio, it was miserable. It was shitty out. We got to southern Missouri, and you'd have thought it was a couple guys just got let out of jail on the nicest day of the year. I mean, we got out of the car and it was like, wow, it is so nice out.
Well, I'll tell you, the other night up here on the top of Mount Washington, and it was minus 88.
Damn.
I said, keep it. That's chilly. I don't
Once you
want
get past minus like 40, I don't think there's no difference. It's just cold.
minus 88.
Yeah.
Well, hell, I've been up there on Bike Week, right? For Laconia, the bike rally in Laconia, New Hampshire. And it's 90. Okay. You go up on top of that mountain, it's frickin' 40, and chicks are going up there with frickin' Daisy Duke shorts on and half shirts on and the whole nine, and they get halfway up and like, oh, you know.
God bless him for doing it, though. Thank you for the struggle,
Oh,
ladies.
absolutely.
Thank
I
you.
mean, the headlights are on the whole way, you know.
But we went to Florida in, let's see, September, I think it was. We went down for a wedding or something. We were down there for like 2 weeks. And when we flew back to Columbus, Ohio, my buddy picked us up from the airport. And, of course, you get off the plane, you're walking through the airport. I don't know if anyone's familiar with Port Columbus, but, you don't see anything about outside at all. It's all, you're sheltered from the outside until you get to the parking garage. And we're walking through, and we get our luggage, and my buddy hits me up on the phone. He's like, I'm sitting at this door waiting on you. I said, okay. So I get out by the doorway where he's at, and there's him and his wife come to pick us up, wearing like jeans and winter coats and like, knit hats. And I'm like, what the hell? Here I am in flip-flops and shorts and a like tank top. I'm like, what the hell happened? I mean, it's like September. Usually in September we go 80 degrees until we get into August. But no, this year it was like, 28 when we got back from Florida.
Last time I went down south, I went down to Tampa for a week, and when I came back, it was about 70 degrees. It got to be 80 one day, in Florida. And the day we came back was when that polar vortex hit last year. The whole like negative 20 for a week. That was pretty damn miserable to come back to.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the other thing too is that my wife, in talking to her about prepping and stuff, and she goes, and you want to go to friggin' Maine? You know how cold that's gonna be. Don't you want heat? I'm like, of course I want heat, but because it's chilly, all year round though. Seriously, I think it's only June and July are the warmest months way up in northern Maine. And at night in July and August, it's freaking chilly, you know. Which I like because then there's no more bugs. But I can't. I'm jealous. I can't get over you guys don't have sand fleas down there. That's unbelievable.
Johnny Dunn's still out in the chat and he never jumped in, man.
No, he didn't. I guess he didn't want
Fuck,
him.
John.
Yeah, I sent him to Justin. I sent you two too. I sent both of you two.
Yeah, I
I'm
got
like,
you.
I sent them. You know, it's all good.
Looks like we got some type of feud going on in the outside chat. I
The,
don't
the
know.
invites are out there. You know, I tried to do. You know, I was gonna invite Quasar, but I didn't see him. I'm sorry, am I an
That
asshole?
That
I'm
was
sorry.
an epic chat.
I just would have
it's,
just.
it's cool.
We would have all muted. We would have all muted and just sat back.
I'd go a few rounds with him in a hangout. I mean, he seems kind of fucking stupid to me. I hope he's out there listening, but I mean, he has no retort to anything I say except to call me a communist. All right.
We talked about that earlier. We were saying, and I did it before on one of my other chats. You know, I'm like, you know, like I don't know, like even like Johnny will tell you, I am such a baby when it comes to bushcrafting and stuff. You know, I don't know a lot about it. I don't, but I'm learning. You know what I mean? So I would never like. I would never do it to Johnny anyways. But let's say Johnny says to me, and when I mean Johnny, I mean John the M.I. Woodsman here on the panel, by the way. I would never tell me, no, John, you're wrong. Why? Because I don't know. And I wouldn't do it because it's, to me anyways, it's like disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? So like whether I agree with somebody if they're a Republican or if they're a Democrat or they're anarchist or they're whatever the hell they're gonna be, who the hell cares? It's their belief. Is there a right and wrong belief? No. It's what you believe. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't know.
I just like getting
I
underneath
don't.
Quasar's skin.
Yeah, you do that pretty easily, by the way.
Interesting.
You can do that pretty easily. It was pretty actually hilarious in Johnny's chat watching it. But
I mean, even I have to admit, come on now, communism and anarchy are two very, very different things.
way different things.
Yeah. Like you can't.
Yeah, one
I mean,
works, the other doesn't.
His thing is that in the past there has been a lot of anarchists that are communists, but they just don't fucking understand that you can't really have communism without some kind of rulers.
Well, communism is honestly it's the biggest form of government. I mean, it's as big as government gets is communism. I mean, let's be honest.
If you're smoking,
I'm an anarcho-capitalist, to be specific. So how an anarcho-capitalist could be a fucking communist is just ridiculous.
Right. If you smoke a joint and listen to John Lennon sing Imagine, right? All the people that were born in the 30s and 40s thought he was a friggin' communist for singing that friggin' song. So, I mean, you know.
Yeah. And I've tried to point this Quasar guy towards different articles and things like that, different terms to research and stuff like that. And
I swear to God, if you say Stephen Molyneux, I'll kick you to the goddamn internet.
if I say who?
I say if you say anything about Stephen Molyneux, I'm gonna kick you in the dick through the internet.
Oh no, fuck that guy.
I'm just fucking with you.
That guy. All right, he like with this Eric Gardner situation. That's when I finally fucking gave up on him.
He's a
right?
circle poser.
His response to Eric Gardner being fucking killed by police is that Eric Gardner was creating a victim of the victim that Eric Gardner created was the shop owners who paid taxes. So by avoiding taxes, you're victimizing people who pay taxes.
But
That
the
was fucking
taxes on those
Stephen
cigarettes were already
Molyneux.
paid once, right?
Well, yeah, not to mention that.
Yeah,
Well, unless he was getting them
taxes were
from out
already
of
paid.
state or something like that, he might have been going across the border where you don't have a ridiculous cigarette tax or something.
Yeah, like
Right. But even if it was a different state, the taxes were still paid on those particular cigarettes.
Yeah.
There
So,
was no
I
victim
mean,
in that crime except for Eric Gardner.
and he literally said, well, there had to be a victim. Somebody reported him to the police. Why would they report him if there wasn't a victim? I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? So every time somebody calls up the police, that means they're the victim? What about these fucking assholes who call the police on open carriers? Are they fucking victims? Like, Jesus Christ. That's when I finally gave up on the fucking guy. Like, some of his stuff is alright. Like, I'm not a huge fan, but when I heard about that shit, I wasn't even watching him. I was told about that, then I had to go back and listen to that video where he said that shit. It was just complete lunacy.
Yep. No, and I wish, you know, you just brought up people that call in on the open carry, people that open carry. I wish and pray that the states that allow it would educate the public more that every person that open carries isn't going to stick it in your freaking head and rob you blind.
My question is why doesn't the dispatcher ask one or two questions? It's like, okay, man, you see,
right?
Like, is he acting in a threatening manner? Well, he's just walking down the street.
Coming from someone who worked in law enforcement, and my wife is still a dispatcher, those questions are asked. They're just not relayed properly, and they're not. You know, they don't have codes for. You know, that's the thing. They're trying to change the whole system nationwide into plain English instead of using codes.
Right.
That way, a department from San Diego can talk to a department in, Nevada without using codes, and everyone knows what the hell's going on.
Right.
There are some dispatchers that do ask the questions. A lot of times, it's lost in translation when it comes over the radio, and I can testify to that for sure. I mean, what was actually going on is not what you're got, in your mindset when it comes over the radio. You don't. Yeah, it's like telling the story. You remember the game when you were a kid where one kid would start whispering and it would go down the line and you'd see how bad the story changed by the time it got to the end of the line?
Right.
That's the same thing. It's the same thing on that. And it's only between a dispatcher and a officer.
But Ohio.
Yeah, and the dispatchers do ask these questions, at least most of the time, I assume. Like groups like the Open Carry Texas group, they have a web page or a YouTube channel. And recently they started they did the Freedom of Information Act requests on the FOIA requests when they get the cops called on them. So they, during the video of, before the cops show up in their video to check them out, they play the 911 call during the video and I mean, the dispatchers are asking them, well, what do these people look like? Are they acting aggressive? Do they seem like they're mentally ill? And, different questions like that. And at least the last one I watched, these guys were walking around with Santa hats and their AKs and shotguns and everything like that. And even though people were saying, no, they're not aggressive, I just thought I'd report it, the cops still showed up.
They have to. But
now, what was the response like by the police? Was it an aggressive response?
Yeah, it wasn't an aggressive response by the police at all. It was just show up, talk to the guys,
But on my end, when I hear Santa hat and AK-47s, I'm thinking a crazy person with a gun, because Santa doesn't exist. So,
that's
obviously delusional if you believe in Santa Claus.
But Ohio, and that's my point. And I know you guys do numbers. Around here, a cop that needs help is 99. Okay, I don't know what it is out where you guys are, but that's what it is here. But why can't the dispatcher, when she or he is radioing a specific unit or whatever, say specifically that, you know, there's a couple of guys on such and such street open carrying, whether it be a shotgun or whether it be a handgun. Okay, they're walking. They're not being aggressive. They're not taunting people. They're not pointing at anybody. The caller wanted to call and let us know they're doing it. Why
I
can't
think
that?
I think a lot of the issue at one point was, this is just, I could be completely wrong here, was the old radios had such shit sound quality that you pretty much had to speak in code because trying to get out like whole sentences wasn't really an option. So that might have something to do with it.
And they also had the secretive thing of, codes. Not people in Scannerland wouldn't know what you're talking about. But, man, it doesn't take much to figure out what codes are. I mean, I got one right here. I mean,
Yeah, that way you can
for
call.
Columbus,
Yeah,
you
because
tell
I
me,
mean,
you ask me
when
what a code
dispatch
is,
is
and I can
letting
tell you.
when dispatch is letting the police officer with the guy standing right in front of him, letting him know that he has a warrant out, they don't
Right.
want to fucking have that come across the radio and have the guy bolt,
Right, like in Columbus,
If it comes across as a
1033 is a person with a gun, and then a 1043 is shots fired or shooting. 1043A is shots fired. So you get a unit to the dispatch the car. You got a possible 1033 at such and such address.
And that's
there's
happened
no
all
there's
over
no
Ohio.
explanation. There is no. You gotta. They don't go into depth. You just got a 1033 at this address.
But that's
the car
the
says
problem, though,
blah blah
Ohio.
blah. Exactly. And then they say, oh well, now that 1033 is now a 1043. Shots fired.
Right.
And you're like, oh okay. So there's nothing on this list that says man carrying a gun, practicing his Second Amendment constitutional rights.
Well,
It
I
doesn't
think
say that
that's what
anywhere
you,
on this list.
and that's what you
it
said
should
there.
be code 2A, right?
Is they're trying to switch to plain English,
Yeah, they're
probably
trying to
for these
switch
exact kind of reasons.
I'm just trying to catch up.
And-
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's not just issues with open carriers. There's probably all sorts of situations where they need to go more in depth with describing what the officer is walking into.
But also, I mean, a lot of people don't support them. I'm not the biggest fan of them, but I am a member of the NRA. They do things that I don't agree with, but
Me too.
I still am a member. But why can't the NRA, maybe spend a little money and put some billboards out in some of these cities where this might be an issue? That way, normal everyday people driving down the road see the sign that says, don't forget, Ohioans, it's a constitutional right for open carry in this state. It's not illegal to have a gun on your person in public. Something simple like that. Or some pamphlets that people could hand out at the state fair or at the basketball game or at the OSU football game. Something, educate the people.
It's amazing how ignorant people are to gun laws. I mean, just your common everyday person who seems like they're halfway educated. It's just not something they're interested. They don't know. I mean.
Oh no, yeah, they don't know. I mean,
every time I have like a firearms talk with somebody who's not already into guns, like almost inevitably you have to explain to them that no, you can own these. No, you don't have to register anything in this state. Like it's just amazing the lack of knowledge that the average person has.
John, do you guys have problems up where you are with all of that too? With the open carry? Now, you guys open carry or concealed?
We can open.
Yeah.
I open carry. Usually when especially when I go out in the woods or go hike or whatever, I always open carry.
See,
it has to open.
It
has to open carry everywhere because when you can open carry, but when you got to transport the firearm, you got to have the firearm like in the trunk or locked in a box on the back, and your ammo's got to be in the front.
Really?
That's the same way in Ohio, unless you have your concealed carry.
Now it's a little.
You're in Michigan.
We
It's a
have
little more fuzzy in Ohio, though.
in
There's a lot of gray.
Massachusetts, we have concealed carry. Okay, we don't. Right in the law, it'll tell you, yeah, you can open carry, but it says right there, not recommended. And 99.999% of people don't have the balls to do it. They don't want to deal with it. So they just conceal carry. Now, you get a conceal license in Massachusetts. That's on you. It's either on your hip, shoulder, wherever the hell you want it.
Yeah.
You can put it in your glove box, but it just has to be within. They call it "quote unquote" under your control. So
Yeah, it can't be in your glove
arm's
box.
reach.
If
Arm's reach.
You can't have it in your glove box if you got a front seat passenger without a concealed carry license.
Correct.
I still hate CCW. I hate it. Like I hate the whole idea of a permit.
I don't like the permit. I want constitutional carry, but I prefer to carry concealed because
I would too.
I find it a better edge.
If you think for 10 seconds, no, I'm not. I'm totally for the carrying of a gun concealed, but I hate the idea of
having to have a permit to do it.
Having a permit to do it.
But it's de facto registration of people who carry guns. It's this guy. It's fucking registration. I mean, it is.
You can go on the internet and find out. You can go on the internet and find that I have a concealed carry permit.
Really?
Oh yeah, you can find it on the internet somewhere. There's a database somewhere.
See, I was real lucky. We got constitutional carry here the year that I turned 21. So it got enacted the year I turned 21. My birthday's in April, so it became law in January or February, something like that.
Right.
But I had plans to get my concealed carry permit. And depending if we get this national reciprocity, I still might. I just have a feeling if we get national reciprocity, there's probably going to be some national concealed carry weapon guidelines, whereas like here in Arizona, we're one of the most relaxed states on I mean, you don't even have to take your gun to the class. You don't have to pass any kind of shooting test. All you got to do is freaking pass the test and not have a felony, and it shall issue. So,
see, this whole national reciprocity thing kind of scares me as well. Because honestly, I don't even like the federal government sticking their nose into this.
I'm not. I put that.
I mean,
when you guys explain that to me.
I think it basically, if the states still get to issue the permits, then I think it's going to be all right. Like if it's still state issued permit and not like some kind of national concealed carry permit, I don't really see the problem with it.
Do you see what I'm saying? How it could be a slippery slope towards like a national concealed carry permit, and then they get to decide. Then they get to decide what the parameters are at that point, and then shit gets real fucking ugly.
Yeah, exactly. If the feds get to decide the parameters of how the states are going to issue their permits, then it's fucked.
But don't you think that for a state like mine, that could help? Because like we don't honor New Hampshire's gun laws. We don't honor Maine's gun laws. You know what I'm saying? So, but
see what you're saying.
That's constitutional carry, right?
No, New Hampshire isn't constitutional carry. Vermont is, but New Hampshire. But New Hampshire. Other than that, New Hampshire, you can do any God-loving thing you want. You can, if your clip-a-zine held 1,000 rounds, you can shoot it.
Yeah.
But Vermont does. Vermont has constitutional carry. But a person from Vermont can't come into Massachusetts. They have to do that. Unload the gun, put it in the box, take your ammo, put it in your glove box type bullshit. Where New Hampshire and Vermont, you can cross the border. So, you're constitutional carry in Vermont, okay? You go into the state of New Hampshire, you can leave that gun on your side, wherever the hell you have it. Okay, you don't have to unload it. You don't have to do all that bullshit. If you go from Mass to New Hampshire, you can't do that either. You know what I'm saying? So my point is that this national thing, where now I can drive from Boston to San Diego with a gun in my hip, isn't that a good thing?
Only if
it is if that's what it is. If that's all it is and that's how it stays, where if it's still the states that are deciding how they give out their permits, and see the thing is, it starts out as national reciprocity, and then it turns into, well, we'll just do a national CCW then. We'll cut the states out of it, and then it becomes the feds deciding what the parameters for getting a CCW are, and
Right,
it gets
and
real
then,
ugly.
then it cuts into, yeah, I can see your point there.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
like
it would be better
Ohio's-
for states that have strict gun laws. Like, I hardly ever go to California because I cannot carry there. I
Okay.
may or may not still carry there. I'm not going to say, but I'm not supposed to, right? Um, but if we get national reciprocity, you'll probably see me out in California a lot more because my Arizona permit that I can easily obtain will allow me to carry in California.
Right. Now, do you guys
But
have states around you where you said Arizona's a constitutional carry? Do you have, how's my geography sucking right now? So let me see. You guys touch New Mexico?
yeah, New Mexico,
Okay.
Nevada,
So
Utah.
do they honor your gun permit in them into their states?
Utah, and New Mexico, I believe, honor our concealed carry permit.
Okay. Now,
But that's
Johnny,
the
how
thing,
about
I don't
you?
even have a concealed carry permit. I don't need one,
Right.
so I'm kind of fucked. But
Johnny, how about you? Can you carry out in Michigan if you were going to leave the state for whatever reason? Can you carry out in Michigan?
I'm not sure about that. I don't know Ohio or Indiana's law.
see, New Mexico, Utah, and Nevada, I can all open carry in without a permit. So
Yeah,
if I was
that's tough.
going into those, I'll just open carry.
Right.
But Nevada has like some weird laws. It's not statewide. Like, let's say you can't open carry in Vegas, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
we had cities here in Ohio that tried to do that in the early 2000s, and it got
mhm.
struck down real quick by the state government. No, 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 you can't do that anymore. So now there's no magazine limits in weird cities. There's no concealed carry, bans in weird cities.
Yeah,
That's a no-no.
Columbus actually lost the NRA convention because of a city law that was in effect at one time.
Now what's even better now is with all those laws that got struck off the books late last year, we're gonna have a whole lot more fun here in Ohio.
The only thing that can get you in trouble here in Arizona is we have a lot of Indian reservations here,
Hmm.
and you cannot carry on the reservation like at all.
Right.
Even a vehicle in your gun is going to get you busted. Not a vehicle in your gun. A gun in your vehicle is going to get you busted if you're not traveling all the way through.
Now let
If
me
you're
ask.
nonstop traveling, you can stop at a gas station or something like that, stop and get something to eat. But if you were to camp on the reservation and have a shotgun in the back of your truck, no.
Kind of like if if somebody from the reservation uh, did a criminal act off the reservation and then somehow get back onto the reservation without getting caught, they can't go on the reservation and arrest him or her. Correct?
I'm pretty sure they still can.
Yeah,
I mean, they all cooperate with each other nowadays. Like maybe back in the day, that used to be the case. But
I know a guy. I know up in Maine there was a case where a kid had a warrant out for his arrest. Just a little bench warrant, something stupid. It wasn't even, it wasn't nothing serious. And he was on the reservation, and he wouldn't come off.
mhm.
They wouldn't. They wouldn't go. Now this was.
Yeah. So
It
no,
wasn't like
that's
it
true.
wasn't like this was
You're right.
yesterday. This was probably 2000, 2001.
You're right. It's up to the reservation police to extradite them. It's actually the res police that have to go make the arrest and extradite them. Now, if they don't find that worth it, if it's some, failure to appear for a fucking traffic ticket or something like that, failure to pay a fine, they issue a warrant, something like that, chances are the reservation police aren't going to extradite you for some bullshit. Now, you fucking drive drunk down the interstate and kill a few people, have a fucking warrant out for your arrest, you're almost guaranteed the reservation's going to extradite them. So.
Well, and you got to look up, warrants have pickup radiuses too, depending on what the crime is or whatever. So a pickup radius of 5 is only within the county of the said warrant.
Mm-hmm.
A pickup radius of 4 is just that county, including all adjoining bordering counties. So if you're in a county that has 5 other counties that border it, they would pick them up in those 5 counties plus the county that you're in. Pickup of 3 is a like a 100-mile radius beyond those counties. So just basically go out 100 miles and draw a circle. Pickup radius of 2 is statewide, and a pickup radius of 1 would be nationwide. And then you can do pickup radius of 1 with other jurisdictions for international, if other countries will allow you to extradite.
Like my cousin, he lives in New Hampshire, but he's originally from Mass, but he's been up in New Hampshire now for about 20 years, and he's got a warrant down here in Mass, and so I said to him, well, keep your ass out of trouble up there, because usually they'll extradite you. But so he got caught for something stupid, driving a 4-wheeler on the road or something stupid like that, and they run him. But I guess it's one of those warrants that
it's out of the pickup radius. It's not worth their time to come get him.
It's not worth it. Exactly. It's not worth Massachusetts driving all the way up to New Hampshire to get him and bring him all the way back. But if he comes into Mass, and him and I are in my car and I get stopped for whatever stupid reason they ask him his name, he's fucked.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I had a warrant out of Lake Havasu one time, underage drinking. I never paid the fine or whatever. Not like 17 underage. I was like 18 or 19 or some shit. Still under 21. And I knew I had the warrant out, and I get pulled over here in Tucson. And I'm like, oh, fuck, I'm going to jail again. God damn it. But the cop wrote me up my ticket, handed me my stuff back, and said, you have a warrant up in Lake Havasu? I'm like, yeah. He's like, you might want to get that taken care of. Have a good day. I'm like, no shit, not getting arrested. Well, that's a good ending to a fucking ticket.
Now tell me how this cop was bad.
Give me a goddamn ticket. Victimless crime, man.
I'm just kidding.
He fucking extorted money out of me at the roadside with the fucking threat of deadly force.
I remember when I was like 17, we were out way past curfew one night, had like a trunk full of beer and booze and crap. We get pulled over by the cops, and there's they're going through the process of like yanking kids out of the car and checking IDs. We're busted tonight. And then all of a sudden, I guess they got like a shots fired call over the radio, because they look at us, they're like, "You're the luckiest kids on the road tonight. Don't let us see you out here again," and took off all of a sudden. I was like, "Thank you." I was like, let's get home now. We're not pushing our luck anymore tonight.
Man, so the last time I was arrested, I mean, I gotta say, these cops, they could have not charged me for the weed. Like, it was a bullshit charge, too, because I had my medical card, and it just wasn't in the proper container, right? It wasn't in the fucking container I get from the dispensary. But I had my medical card, and I wound up getting the charges dropped. But I had 3 dogs with me in my truck, getting ready to go camping. And they uncuffed me so I could take the dogs out of my truck, put them in the back of their cruiser. The fucking dude who was riding in the passenger seat of the cruiser, I don't know if he was a cop on probationary period or something like that. He might have been. He gets in my truck, drives it to the police station so they didn't have to impound it. and they let me wait there at the police station with my truck and my dogs until somebody came up from Tucson to pick it up. I was like, oh, that's cool as shit, man. Like, I would have never thought a fucking cop would ever do
You
that.
thought for sure your dogs are going to the pound and
I thought,
your car's getting
because see,
towed.
my wife was out in California, so I had to call her family to come out there and pick up my truck, and they're like an hour and a half away. I'm on my way up to northern Arizona, so I'm nowhere close to home. And they put me in a cell there at the police station, and they had like a whole row of kennels outside, I'm assuming for their canines. They let me freaking throw my dogs in there. Yeah, they uncuffed me when we got to the station after they searched me and shit like that. So they uncuffed me again, let me put my dogs in the kennels, then walked me over to the cell, and I just hung out in the cell for a while till my family got there and picked up the truck and picked up the dogs. But
Yeah, that's pretty cool. But like you
I ain't
said
never
before,
heard
they
of
didn't
that.
have to do any of that. They could have just let you go too, right?
Yeah, exactly. They could have fucking just let me go. So,
No,
but
They
that's
they
also
went
like
out of their
they were
way.
literally the only people. I was the only. There's only one car on duty. Small ass fucking town. All there is a prison and like a McDonald's and a gas station and like maybe 500 houses in this town.
So
I was the
they
only
just needed
contact.
they just
I
needed
looked
something to do, and they didn't want to totally fuck you over. You know what I mean?
dude.
exactly.
You were
I
an
go up
obvious.
and I look at the report for that day. I was the only contact that they had made for that 24-hour period
You were an
in
obvious danger
in
to
the whole police
society with your
department.
plant. You were an obvious danger to society with your plant,
Right.
but Billy Bob down the street with his fucking 12-pack of booze is totally legit and okay. He's
Right.
totally not. It's fine though. But your
Um,
plant, obvious threat to society, and you should be punished.
but and then even like the courthouse, because I had to go back there for court because I went through diversion. So basically, like 6-month probation. If you don't get in trouble, they drop the charges. So I had to go back there a few times to prove I wasn't in any trouble. But this freaking courthouse, no security, no nothing. You walk in the door. If you have a pistol, they have your little lockers right there, your little lock boxes.
Yeah.
You can just freaking throw your pistol in the box, take the key, and walk right into the courtroom right there. There's like 2 fucking rooms, a lobby and then the courtroom. Like nobody searches you, nothing like that. I mean,
Shit. We can't even bring freaking cell phones in the courtrooms. Swear to God, leave your cell phone in your vehicle is exactly what it says on the big huge sign.
Oh man, you want to have fun? Go down to like the Columbus courthouse at like 7 o'clock in the morning any weekday and just stand outside and watch people going in and out of that place. Good times. Cream of the crop. It's right down. It's right down in like. If anyone's familiar with Columbus, like the courthouse is like right on the edge of downtown on the south end, but like right on the edge of like one of the nastiest ghettos in Columbus. And it is just fucking fantastic standing outside of that place. Oh.
Got a cigarette?
You got a cigarette? Exactly. You got a cigarette?
cigarette?
Hey, you got a cigarette?
Got some change? Spare some change? Why don't you sell them damn $200 Nikes you got on and go get you some change? That's the first thing I do when I see someone begging for money is look at their shoes. If you got nicer shoes than me, you ain't getting no damn change.
We had a dude. I worked at an Arby's when I was in high school for like 2 weeks. And while I was working there, we had a guy that would stand at the exit for one of the freeways here in Columbus, and he would stand there every day, with his little sign like homeless. Well, every morning he would come into Arby's and buy a cup of coffee, and literally, like to pay for like this 80-cent cup of coffee, he would pull out a wad of fucking money like that. He would have like a fucking roll of bills, like fucking that in his pocket, every day.
Professional panhandling.
Yep, it's legal in Mass to do that. You can't be kicked off a sidewalk or arrested for it anymore.
I mean, they might have been mostly ones. I don't know, but still. Damn.
I was down in D.C. I was staying at the Marriott at Freedom Plaza, and I had to go out because my son needed some medication. So I went out to the local drugstore. It was just a little, short walk. This guy stops me and he says, "Do us one if you had a couple of bucks in your pocket." I go, "Dude, I want to give you the money, but I'm not going to contribute to you, killing yourself with booze or whatever." And he says, "Well, no, actually, it's not even for that." He says, "I'm just kind of hungry and da da da." So, guilt set in. I said, "Come on, we'll go to Mickey D's." So we go to McDonald's, and I said, "Get whatever you want." So I told the girl behind the counter, "Whatever he orders, I'm going to pay for it. I'll leave you my wallet. I'll be back in a minute." So sure enough, shit, the girl behind the thing takes my wallet. I went to take a leak. I come back. He's still standing there. All of a sudden, there's fucking 3 huge bags on the fucking counter. I said, "Well, I fucking told him what the fuck he wanted." "Oh, how much I owe you?" She goes, $32. Here you go. He got it from all his buddies out in the fucking plaza. He got everybody a cheeseburger and everybody a fucking coffee. I'm like, all right, don't worry about it. Come to find out, I was talking to the guy in the hotel. These guys that are out in the streets where they really are homeless. But they had a guy in the foyer. But apparently this guy had a job and everything, and he was still paying it in the foyer of the hotel. And he had more. The guy at the hotel said he had more money than me, for Christ's sakes. He's got a job and he's panhandling. But
yeah, I seen a video where a guy confronted a lady. She was out with her sign and everything, and he gave her money like every day. And then one day he was walking down the sidewalk and he followed her, and she went in and got in her brand new car and like put the sign in the trunk and shit. That's on YouTube. I seen it other day.
Well, it's like
I give you like $4 every day for the past 3 years, and you're driving a nicer fucking car than mine.
Well, it's like I go through the projects, right, in Lowell, that city that I live beside, right? And my dad gets mad at me. He's like, "Oh, you forget where you came from." I goes, "No, I don't." I said, "But my point is that," I said, "Dad, I drive through the projects. It's not like people are visiting because there's the same cars there all the time. So it's not like they're visitors." I goes, "Dad, there's Lexuses in there, there's Infinities in there, there's brand new Escalades in there. But yet they're paying $200 a month they're paying $200 a month for fucking rent."
That's because they're not showing any income. When you see like a Lexus or a super nice Cadillac in the projects, you're looking at a dope boy, essentially. What he's doing, and he's taking his welfare check at the beginning of the month, buying as much dope as he can, and he's flipping it. He's basically flipping his welfare checks through selling dope. And that's how you see guys with surpluses of cash like that in the hood.
Because I'm like, I says, "Yeah, Dad, we were broke when I was a kid. But you know what? I was drinking powdered fucking milk. I wasn't fucking eating fucking steaks. I wasn't fucking eating lobsters. You know what I mean?" I said, "We put bikes together. We didn't go out and buy me a brand new fucking bike. We put them together, for Christ's sakes." I go, so it's, you know what I mean? I'm like, come on. Drive around a $45,000 vehicle and you cry poor mouth. Well, sell the fucking thing. Go buy yourself a $5,000 vehicle. Now you got $40,000 in cash. You can do whatever the fuck you want with. You know? But
See, here I'm pretty sure panhandling is illegal, but what guys do is they'll like sell stickers, like get a fucking like fat roll of stickers, and if they're standing out on the corner selling stickers, you give them a couple bucks because you know what they're up to. They just want the fucking money. They'll fucking give you a little smiley face sticker or whatever. And then also the local newspaper, after like, I don't know, whatever time, like they sell most of their papers by 10, 11 o'clock in the morning, something like that. then they drop a bundle of newspapers at different intersections. Yeah, and then the homeless guys or whatever, maybe not homeless, just people down on the luck or whatever, or have some fucking free time. Yeah, sell newspapers just for the face value.
Yep.
But people always give them more.
Right.
You know, but that also creates a lot of bum fights because the bums will want to fight over that spot. You know.
We got guys to wash your windows for you at the traffic lights.
Mm-hmm.
They'll wash your window. And they have
you can't do that here because that's like jaywalking or walking into traffic or some stupid shit like that. Yeah.
We don't always agree on everything, and we know that. You know, people have different beliefs and stuff, even in this chat right now. But especially when it comes to government and, you know, different things. But I have the belief, I'm sorry, but I have the belief that our government wastes enough money that they take from us, you know, as Justin would say, forcibly by, you know, weapon or whatever, with taxes and everything. There's enough money that our government takes from us that wastes, that there shouldn't be one person tonight going cold, hungry, or homeless.
Mm-hmm.
There just shouldn't be. This country should not have a homeless problem or a hunger problem. It just shouldn't.
You're right.
Not saying that they need to tax us more or anything like that. I'm just saying they tax us enough that they waste enough money where they can be taking care of their own people instead of sending this money overseas.
And it's not that I'm completely against foreign aid. Like, if we have extra money to throw around to help people out around the world, I'm not necessarily against that.
Right.
But like you said, with the issues we have at home, we need to maybe throw a little bit more money in the
take care of your own first type of deal.
Yep, exactly.
And that's not being. There's nothing in my opinion. There's nothing wrong with that.
I
do it with my family. I take care of my family first. And when I mean my family, I mean, you know, my 3 kids and my wife. Yes, I have a ton of brothers and sisters and nieces and nephews, but I mean my immediate family. I take care of them, and then if I can help somebody else out, I'll help you out. If I can't, I can't. You know what I mean? So same thing with the country. You take care of the people here, and you worry about outside later when you can. You know. I don't know. I never got that concept on why you can't take care of the people. But I agree with Ohio. There shouldn't be. Like, you take all these lotteries, all these Powerballs and lottos and everything else, right? All these lottos getting up to 450 million, and so now they're being taxed on it, right? So they had one here from Massachusetts, and I don't know, he won a couple $100 million or something silly, whatever it is. So they take the taxes on it. They did the tax status is 40%. Okay, so they're taking whatever 40% of 200 million is what 8 million? No, 80 million. So they're taking that out in taxes. Take that 80 million and feed these fucking people. Put them. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you know, here's my idea. You know, with the homeless. How many empty houses are there in Detroit, Michigan? Let's give all these empty houses to the homeless, hook them up with electric and utilities for 1 year, and see if they can turn their lives around and get things going, you know, and maybe we can repopulate a city that desperately needs an economy.
Yeah, not to fucking mention that the goddamn federal government owns 80% of the land west of the Mississippi.
Right.
Like, Jesus fucking Christ, why aren't people allowed to homestead? Like, we need the fucking Homestead Act back, man. Like, there's so much federal fucking property out here. 80% of the goddamn land west of the Mississippi is owned by the federal government. And you're telling me you can't fucking just go out there and claim a section of it for yourself? What the fuck is wrong with that?
Justin, we need to protect the desert tortoise, man.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus fucking Christ. Fuck the desert tortoise.
Out here, Justin, right? You can't homestead anywhere in the state of Massachusetts, but in New Hampshire,
you can't homestead anywhere anymore. Shit.
In New Hampshire and Maine, when I mean homestead, I mean I mean, to a point of not having, water facilities or
You
living
can,
off the land, so to speak.
yeah, you can have solar powered equipment in your house, but you still got to be hooked to the electric pole. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, see, Mike, what I'm talking
No,
about homesteading is like
I know
the
what you mean.
homesteading act. You know, you fucking go
You
out
mean
there and you plant a goddamn corner post and you
right,
own a fucking
right?
quarter
No, I know what
mile
you.
square, you know?
I know what you mean. I totally know what you're getting at. But I mean, like, if I wanted to live in a friggin' yurt, yurt, however the fuck you pronounce that, I can't do that. You know what I'm saying? Even if let's say I own 30 acres of land, 40 acres of land, 50 acres of land, and I farmed half of it, and I'm feeding myself and the whole nine. Certain county, not even counties, certain towns in New Hampshire and Maine won't allow you to have a fucking outhouse. You know what I mean? It's just you
Yeah,
can't even
that's
do
some
that
bullshit.
anymore. You can't even do that
But I
anymore.
mean, seriously, I'm serious about that. If we have any kind of fucking welfare here, you know, it should be 40 acres and a goddamn mule. Well, maybe a rototiller or a tractor or some shit like that. But that's what fucking welfare
Right.
should be. And if you can't make it work with that, then sorry, you know, that's all you get.
Yeah, you have to. You have to be able to put something into it. You just don't stand there with your hand out.
Right.
I mean,
That's why I don't. Ohio and I were talking about this before. I don't have a problem with helping somebody out. I don't. I don't have a problem if you need your own welfare. I have a problem if you live on it and then your kid lives on it and then your grandkid lives on it. Okay? It's just a kickstart to help you at a rough time in your life. That's my belief, anyways. Um, and then when you get a job, all right, so let's say your job doesn't pay you that well. Okay, it doesn't pay you that well, but then your benefit isn't as much as it used to be because now you're working, and so it shortens it up. You know what I'm saying? But they're living off of it, and it's
yeah. I mean, and what I'm talking about is really not welfare or any type of handout. What I'm talking about is taking care of our own people first with the money that they already have that they waste.
mm,
You know, not don't set up new taxes and new systems and new
right.
government agencies. Let's just take some money that we waste on shit
Hmm.
and put it to a different type of use and see if we can get people back on their feet and get this country great again. I
Yeah.
mean,
We're way past
there,
that shit, man. We
Oh
can't.
no. The country is
Everything we
great.
take in taxes goes to pay the interest on a fucking debt that
yep,
like none of us. Well, I don't know. No one in my generation really was
Will ever
around to
see it.
accrue.
Right.
You know,
right,
like we're fucking.
My
My
kids.
daughter's about to be born into what $60,000 worth of debt is her share. It's fucking
Right.
ridiculous,
like
man.
53 as soon as she's born. The day she's born, she owes
Right.
Yeah,
53,000. But
yeah.
the thing is, you know, this country ran perfectly fine for many, many years before we had welfare and everything like that. Some of these programs we had didn't start until, you know, late 60s and the 70s. A lot of government programs we have didn't exist back before the 70s.
Right.
So it's a
Yeah.
mindset too. Like you said, people growing up living on the system. But I still believe that there's people that run this government that's what they want. They want people to be dependent on the government for control.
See, I can't. I don't know if I agree with that, but I don't know. I mean, part of me, I guess a little bit of me agrees with it, but most of me doesn't. If that makes any sense. Um,
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the more they give handouts and have you know people on benefits and welfare and stuff like that. Now you gotta look at some of these older people that like my parents and my in-laws or whatever.
mhm,
They're living off their retirement, they Social Security, that money that they put in for it and stuff like that. I mean, these people work their entire lives,
mhm,
and now they're being told, that they have to have this health care that's
mhm.
forced upon them. You
Right.
know, healthcare is forced upon him. It costs $400 a month now. You know, the company that he used to work for, that he retired from, doesn't have to cover him anymore through certain benefits because of this healthcare act. So he gets $800 a month from his, retirement or whatever, and 400 of it goes to healthcare. It's
Well,
you hit 65 years old, man. It's just there's not a whole lot of difference between being 65 and being 19 on your own in your first apartment anymore. You're living, you're eating ramen noodles and macaroni and cheese, and living.
Yeah, and I mean the fact of the matter is, with this whole healthcare bullshit, it's the fucking young subsidizing the old. Same thing as it is with Social Security. It's not like there's actually a fucking Social Security fund. It's young people subsidizing the old, is what it is. Well, with the insurance, with Social Security, with a lot of these fucking plans.
Social Security, in my opinion, I've had Social Security taken out of my check since I was 14 years old. I'm going to be 48 in September. In my opinion, there should be 34 years of money in there with my fucking name and my fucking Social Security number on it, that when I retire, that's fucking my money.
You might get lucky. You might still have a little bit left by the time you retire. But I think people like myself who are still in their 20s are fucked.
Yeah, me in the Midwest aren't going to fucking see a goddamn dime of Social Security. There's no fucking way
you put it in there, you should be able to take it out when you're old. That's just how I look at it.
Oh, I agree with you, but the reality of the situation is, like, people like me, 420, we're fucked. We're so fucked.
Yeah, my kids will never see it.
And our generation is probably never going to be able to retire either.
No. You know what?
Except me, I'm already fucking retired, so fuck the system.
I keep saying I want to, but I just want to. My wife calls it running away. You just want to run away. I said, yeah, I just don't want to deal with the bullshit anymore. I want to take my kids, take you, and just get the fuck out of here and just stop dealing with the bullshit.
I'm just never going to quit smoking, so hopefully I don't make it to retirement.
What
just financially, it makes more sense.
What kills me is, like, my father-in-law. A couple of years ago, he had a stroke. This man walks around the best he can on one leg, and the other side of his body is, it just doesn't move. It doesn't operate. So he drags it along. He just drags the left side of his body wherever he goes, and he's going to be 70 years old. He had a stroke. He qualified for a handicap sticker for his car, but he's not considered disabled. He can't get disability from the company where he worked.
How? I don't understand that.
Oh, it's crazy, man. It's some of the stuff that we're trying to help them with and go through. Because to be honest with you, a lot of the older generation, they don't take
necessarily
things.
Want it.
Well, they don't, not that, but they don't understand the way things work. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, this whole Obamacare thing or Affordable Care Act or whatever, they have no idea how it was going to work for them.
Oh, dude, let alone the old people. Are you fucking kidding me? Okay. The line of work I'm in puts me in contact with a lot of, like, younger college-age kids. So the people who were all, like, super pro fucking Obama, super pro fucking Obamacare, like, oh, it's gonna be fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Like, I just sit back and drink liberal tears now, because you hear these kids, like, all of a sudden realize, like, you mean I'm gonna lose money?
Back?
Like, what do you mean? Like, it's not just free. I have to, like, still pay for it. And if I don't pay for it, they take money. Like, what? There's a penalty? It's fucking fantastic.
Yeah, I know. I love seeing these people that did that, and now they're talking about they didn't get their income tax return back because they didn't have insurance, and Obama penalized them and took their whole entire refund. I love that.
Freaking,
I really don't because it's government bullshit, but I love it that these people deserved it because that's the way their
Yeah,
mindset was.
it's not a good situation, but it's pure Schadenfreude, enjoying other people's misery. But it's the people who were for it. I mean, the most ardent, cheers for the cause they had no idea what they were in for. They didn't understand it. It's just fucking terrible situation overall.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of like screen captures from Facebook and stuff of people who have turned 180 degrees on their opinion of Obamacare. One of them was this chick. She's like, something like, I think it was a Twitter post actually, something like, hell yeah, the Obamacare is mandating that birth control has to be covered. Awesome.
Well, that's great.
And then right below that screenshot is the next one. Just went on an affordable or Obamacare.com, whatever the fucking website is. She's just on the website. Yeah, I can't afford insurance. Guess I'm going to have to pay the fine. It was like literally her next post. I'm like, yeah, exactly, dumb fucking bitch.
Right.
Yeah.
Just give me 1 sec, guys. I'm not going anywhere. We're not going anywhere just yet, but I want to thank everybody that's still here. Stan, Mr. Tommy Boy, Dish, how are ya? Precious Metal Mania, Monitor, Kanzi, Jerry Pruitt, Brandon, thank you. Stan, thank you. Johnny, Master in Arms, thank you, sir. And by the way, great chat tonight. Jack, Silver Stacker, Kid, all you guys sticking around, thanks, appreciate it a million.
I just love the idea of, so the people who can't afford to buy health care, we're going to charge them a penalty because they were too poor to pay for health insurance, so we'll charge them a penalty, like they're going to be able to afford to pay a penalty. It's like,
right, and then they put interest on that penalty. Right? Are they going to put interest on that too?
It doesn't make any sense.
Right?
I'm just
so it's like my excise tax for my car. If I don't pay it, the interest compounds like tremendously. That's why even if I don't know how it is where you guys are, but out here, all right, perfect example. I don't know if you guys are into sports or whatever, but Tom Brady gives that guy that safety there that caught the interception, yada, 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 and saved the Patriots and made the Patriots win the game. Tom Brady gives him a brand new truck. All right, the truck that he won, he gave it to him. All right. His excise tax bill is $14,000 a year.
Jesus Christ.
For a fucking truck. Now, as the years go by, it'll depreciate. Okay. But let's just say he's not a, professional football player. And let's just say, for whatever reason, he doesn't pay 1 year. The fines and interests on that $14,000, without exaggeration, would probably jump well over $22,000. Easy.
So wait, you're telling me he's got to pay $14,000 a year on taxes for a $14,000 truck?
No, for $40,000. That truck brand new is probably $40,000, easy.
Okay, that's what they charge for it, but what it's worth is about $14,000 in reality. Still.
Well, the tax on it, the excise tax on it for this year, anyways, it's $14,000.
No, we don't have any of that bullshit in Ohio. We pay.
No,
it's like $40 a month to renew your tags. Not a month. It's $40 a year to renew your tags, and that's
right. That's what ours is. We renew our registrations.
Yeah, okay? That's it though. That's it.
You get your little sticker you put on your plate. We get that.
You pay taxes on your car, but when you buy it, but I mean.
Yeah, you pay sales tax. That's.
Yeah, tax and title, but that's it.
And then we pay an excise tax. Like mine, I have a 2003 fucking Sable. Okay, I think I pay, I don't know, $200 or something for excise tax.
A year though? You get taxed on this thing every year? See, that's bullshit. We get taxed on it one time and we're done. And then
we pay one tax when we buy the car, and that's it. That's it.
Then if you're buying a used car from somebody else, on the title you write down it was a gift. You don't have to pay taxes on it.
We can't even do that anymore. If it's a stranger, we have to write that it was a relative that gave it to you.
Yeah, or you can just write down that you sold it for $200 and
Here's a better one. You ready? Here's a better one.
Pay like $14 for your tax.
Let's say I have a 2010 Silverado, okay, and Ohio, you're moving out to Massachusetts and whatever, you got no wheels or whatever, and I sell you that 2010 Silverado, and I say, you know what, I'll help you out. Just, you know what, Ohio, give me $2,000 for it, okay, just to help you out. Give me two. It's worth a lot more, but just give me $2,000. You go to register that at the registry. They're gonna go by the book value. If the book value on that fucking thing's 9,000, you're gonna pay taxes on 9,000, not on 2,000.
That's
sucks.
crazy. I can literally you can literally just on the back of a title in Ohio, when you sell a car, you just write in what you sold it for. You can literally just write in any fucking number. And the
Yeah.
worst that can happen is they'll send a letter to both of you asking what was paid for the car. So you just make sure that you have your story straight, essentially.
Right.
Yeah.
That's it. Like,
I paid-
that's it.
I paid $200
You know what
for it.
happens,
I paid
yeah.
$15 in taxes on it. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna say I've sold a car for like $10 before, but you could sell a car for $10, you know,
Yeah.
quote unquote.
Like I took my mother-in-law's car over, okay? I forget what the hell the car was. But anyways, so I take it over, and I go to the registry. No, she lives in Maine. I live here in Mass. And the girl says to me, I says, here's the, I give her all the paperwork. I give her the bill of sale and everything. And she said, well, this is booked at, I says, it's my mother-in-law. She goes, well, you don't have the same last name. I said, mother-in-law, not mother. I said, mother-in-law, and she says, well, how am I supposed to know this is your mother-in-law? This could be your neighbor. Would you like to call her? Here. I gave her my fucking cell phone. It says right there. See right there? It says Mom in Maine. Call that number right there. I was pissed. Absolutely pissed. They gave it to me finally, but it's how the state is. It's horrible. It's horrible.
Yeah, here when you go to
And
the
I miss
DMV,
Mr.
it's
Timbo.
just deny, deny, deny.
Yeah, it's. There used to be a T-shirt that they sold in the 80s and very, very early 90s. And I've been online trying to find it. And it's something about welcome to Massachusetts. Leave your guns, leave this, everything at the border. Your freedom stops here. and I wish I could find another copy of that, man, because I'd fucking sell them all over again. Because it sucks. It absolutely sucks. I got New Hampshire. They don't have sales tax. But now here's the fucked up part, right? So I go to New Hampshire and I'll buy a truck or car, whatever. I won't pay sales tax there for that vehicle. When I register it here in Massachusetts, I'm going to pay fucking sales tax.
You need to
Move.
You got land up there, don't you? Don't you have land in New Hampshire?
Well, that'll take too long to explain, but
I just registered under the address there and say you.
I do and I don't. It's an organization that my grandfather, his brother, and their neighbor, they bought 80 acres of land, and they wanted a place for their families to go because none of them came from money, So they went up there with tents, and they formed this club, and now of course it's grown, and so now there's cottages there. There's people that live up there all year round. But now, like everything else, it's a cycle. You come from where you started, full turn, and now people going back to tents and trailers like me. So I pay $40 a month for an acre of land. And I get, we have a lake and all that, yada, 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 and all that bullshit. And usually the dues is really just for the taxes of the property and the lighting, But the good thing about that is that, let's say I could build a house up there, right? I wouldn't pay property taxes. The club picks that up. I would only pay my building tax, whatever my house is worth.
Right on. So you
But
can't keep your vehicles registered up there, get your driver's
no,
license
I
up
had to be
there
there
and everything?
once. You know what I mean? And there's sticklers on that too. My grandfather had a Mass license and a New Hampshire license. It was great. He fucked them up. He fucked them pretty good. But the problem is that for me to build a home up there, I need a ton of cash because there aren't too many banks. They call it leased land.
Mm-hmm.
There aren't too many banks that'll give you, because they can't take it off property that they don't own.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the only
Yeah,
downfall.
fair enough.
So I would need some cash, you know.
Because, yeah, my parents and my brothers and everything, they all keep their vehicles registered at my house because they're living out in California.
Okay.
And, you know, like my mom works with this lady who was from Hawaii, and she got pulled over out here, or out in California. And the cop asked her, well, how long you been living out here? You know, it's rare to see a Hawaii plate in California. If you're seeing a Hawaii plate in California, you know they pretty much moved, right?
Right.
So she got basically a fix-it ticket from the cop. You know, he told her that, well, you've been out here longer than 2 weeks, so you have to get your registration changed over and all that stuff. She didn't want to. She just wanted to keep her Hawaii plates because she still had a house back there. But she had to get the California license and everything. But seeing as how Arizona is right next to California, my parents don't have any problem driving out there with their Arizona plates.
Right.
And they still keep their Arizona driver's licenses and everything like that because it's a difference between $100 tag and a $800 tag out in California. Yeah. Because out here, it's just based on like the year of the vehicle. Where out in California, it's based on the value of the vehicle. So if you have a $40,000 car, you're paying like $1,200 for a tag.
Right. Yeah, it's unreal how they do things. I mean, like, I need a title for anything over 15 years old. I don't need a title for, but anything under 15 years, I need a title for. And then they charge you $60 for the title at the registry. If that person doesn't have it, they charge you $60 for the title. And they get you. It's phenomenal how they get you. Phenomenal. You know, just when you think you got them, you know. And it's not so much I understand the money's, you have to do this. I get all that, but damn, they are just fucking people hard, you know. And it's like, cut some people some slack, you know. You know, why am I paying excise tax on a fucking 2003 car? You know, I mean, it's not a luxury. It's not a fucking 40-foot fucking 50-foot fucking yacht, whatever, you know.
Yeah, and that's kind of bullshit because, even though I'm not really a big fan of the Constitution and everything, one of the things that it was supposed to protect tariffs and everything from when you cross one state to the other. You're not supposed to be taxed. You know,
right.
The only stuff coming in from outside of the nation itself is supposed to be able to be taxed for crossing the border. You're not supposed to be able to tax something. Right. Yeah, you're not supposed to have tariffs when you cross a fucking state border. Right. But basically, that's almost what they're pulling. You know, they're not calling it a tariff, but if you freaking buy a car out of state and bring it in state, you're being taxed for it.
Oh, by the way, I almost got beat up because I used you online, by the way. I was in a chat and they were talking about the Constitution. That's fine. You know, I got no issues. And I said something. I hope I got it right. You said something about, you know how when people are talking about You know, the Boston Tea Party, they threw the tea because of the taxes. You know, and the founders this and that and the other thing. And the first thing the founders did was tax booze. Well, I'll tell you what, people got pissed off at me for saying that. And,
Oh
and
yeah.
I says, well, you can get mad at me. And I says, it's not that I don't believe in the Constitution. I says, but all I'm trying to say is, don't sit there and spew, you know, taxes, the founders did this, the founders, when the founders did, in fact, tax on booze as soon as they took this country over from the English.
Yeah, and not only that, you know, you have Washington. Oh fuck, that asshole Quasar posted a quote from Washington saying something like basically tyrants are going to be the ones who come and take your guns. Well, what the fuck did Washington do besides go quash the Whiskey Rebellion by disarming those who he suspected as being a part of it? He not only fucking went over there and quashed the rebellion, he fucking disarmed them. Yep. And this is the fucking first goddamn president of the United States that, spoke about liberty and all these other fucking things. And what the fuck does he do? He's just the first fucking tyrant as well. He's the first president and the first fucking tyrannical president. But people are so, like, they have such a religious fucking belief about the founders. Like, it's almost like a religion. You can't talk shit about Jesus and you can't talk shit about George fucking Washington, you know? And when you fucking point out that Jefferson had fucking sex slaves, they freak out on you.
Oh yeah,
you know?
And that's proven. That was in the news fucking 15 years ago or something.
You have a fucking slave that you regularly have sex with.
Yep.
Can that fucking slave consent? No, it's your goddamn property. It cannot consent. Right. You know, no matter what kind of relationship they had, there's no fucking consent there. He was fucking raping slaves while he was talking about liberty.
Right. And the other thing, like I'll go around my old man, and I go, Dad, I want a president that will look. None of them can adhere 110% to the fucking Constitution. It's impossible for that to happen. Okay. I said, but at least a little bit, you know. And he says, but Mike, he goes, do you understand that, you know, even the founders, even, you know, you go to the 1800s and stuff. He says, do you know how many you know, laws, if you will, and everything, and amendments they broke to get things done? You know, Lincoln did it to free the slaves, for Christ's sake, but nobody gives a shit because he freed the slaves. You know, but nobody will ever talk about that. You know, I wish David was here, but they were in this David's chat one night, and I put something to the effect of that, you know, in the chat room. And I said, well, what about? I said, it was good that the slaves got freed, right? They're like, well, of course it was. I said, good, me too. I feel that way too. I said, however, they broke every, you know, thing in the book to do it. Does that mean he was a bad guy? So what is the difference if a president broke every rule in the book back in 1865, whatever the fuck year it was? Okay, what is the difference between then and now? There isn't one. You know what I mean? In my opinion, anyways.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's no fucking difference. The politicians are all the same. They're all fucking lying, murdering, psychopath scum. The fucking goddamn founders were no different. They were fucking politicians. Enough said.
Well, a lot of people don't know. I mean, you know, you got this whole fight over British rule and everything back in, and, you know, the Boston Massacre, you know?
Yep.
John Adams defended the British soldiers because they put the British soldiers on trial.
Ohio, can I interrupt you for 1 second? I'm very sorry. You can get back in one second. Are you Jesus?
Yeah.
Oh, is that you? All right, because I was going to block it. Okay, I didn't want to. Okay, no, that's fine. I didn't want to block somebody that I knew.
No.
I didn't want to block somebody I knew. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No,
I apologize.
Gear,
John
Gear
Adams.
said Jesus says fuck you, so I went in there and said fuck you.
Right. Okay, no problem.
I'm just messing around with it.
That's all good. All right, go ahead. I'm very sorry.
John Adams defended the soldiers and picked a loyalist-friendly jury, and they were found not guilty.
Yes.
You know, and that's just surprising to me that, you know.
But here's my problem, Ohio. And again, I am not. So if anybody's out in the chat room, don't go running telling David Robinson, "Oh, Mike DeLucia's fucking all over your shit," because Mike DeLucia isn't. I think David Robinson is one of the smart guys around this place. Okay, so okay. My thing is that if you say stuff like that, maybe not to David, but you say stuff like that in his chat room or what have you, or wherever else, not just his, you get shunned. What the fuck's the matter with you? No. But listen, that was a long time. No. Who cares? It was a long time ago. It happened. It's history. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know. Yes, I get it. That if it wasn't for the founders, who knows who would be today? I get all that, and I'm happy and I'm thankful. But don't make it out that they were without fault and without what the fuck's the word I'm looking for? I don't know what the fuck word I'm looking for. But you know what I mean, Ohio?
Yeah, they're not above criticism.
Yeah.
You know, they're not above criticism.
It's just, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's you can't talk about Jesus, you can't talk about the Pope, you can't talk about such stuff, but you can badmouth Islam all you want. You know
you're terrible.
But you know, I don't particularly care for Islam myself, but
it's okay.
I defend your right to practice it if that's what you want to practice. You know, I don't. You know, and I don't believe in other certain religions either. I mean, I don't want to say I don't believe in them.
Mm-hmm.
They're not for me. They're, you know,
Right.
I don't want to get in a religious conversation.
Right. No, it's all good. I know what you're saying.
I believe you can believe how you want. If you don't want to believe, then you have every right not to believe.
Yep.
I choose to believe. I have that right to believe, and you know, I don't. There's a thing going on here where there was a teacher who died, and her students made a memorial for her, and it included an angel on the memorial. And they're getting sued by some fucking atheists because it violates their free speech to have a fucking angel in this teacher's memorial. What the fuck's up with that? Come on, you know?
That's people using the Constitution to their fullest.
Yeah,
it comes with its good points and its bad points, and that's exactly what it is. I don't mean to be a wise prick. I don't mean to be a wise prick, but that's
exactly. It's not a religious thing for me. It's the fact that just keep your nose out of other people's business. It's not, you know, it's not your memorial. It's somebody else's memorial. And it's,
Ohio.
You know,
my 8-year-old daughter, at the time she was 7, my 7-year-old daughter took a show and tell. She took a little 15-page, 20-page, I call it a pamphlet, I'm not even going to call it a book, about Easter to school for show and tell. Came back with a post-it on it. Although this is a good book, Natalia wasn't allowed to share this in class. I'm very sorry. So a week went by, whatever, I had to go to the school for something different. And so I asked the teacher. I said to the teacher, I go, hey, I got your note. You know, Gina and I got your note about the book. I go, why? I goes, because number one, you're not teaching it. She was just telling about it. So that's not church and state bullshit. And she says, well, it really is. I said, okay, I got one for you. She says, what? I says, now all the kids are out in the schoolyard at recess. She says, okay. And however many kids asked Natalia, my daughter Natalia, about the book, about Easter, we'll say. And she answers them. Are you going to tell her to shut her mouth?
Right.
Because they're still at school, okay? I says, and don't give me the bullshit, well, they're not in my classroom, because then I'm just going to go off the wall.
Well, people missing, I hate the argument of the separation of church and state. They pull that shit all the time, and they're wrong, because the separation between church and state means the state will not pick a certain type of church or religion deemed over the entire country.
And as a parent, right now, and I know Justin, this will be your first child you having?
Yeah.
All right. So Ohio, as a parent, right?
Yeah.
Don't you want your children to learn, right? So I have no problem with anybody teaching my kids about anything, okay? And when they're at the age where they're going to make up their own mind, now they have all these years of reading, studying, listening to people to make up their own friggin' mind what they want to do.
Well, I don't know.
Why be close? Because to me, a school is, here's my point. A school is an institution for learning, right?
Right, but I don't want my kids going to a school that's going to teach Christian values right along with Muslim values, right along with Buddhist values. They shouldn't touch any of those values. If I wanted my kid to go learn religion, I would send my kid to a Christian school or a Muslim school or a Buddhist school. I'm not
saying teach a CCD class. All I'm saying is, like the case with my daughter, right? Show and tell. Like if a little girl got up and showed the Star of David on her necklace, let her learn about it. Whatever the little girl knows about the star that's on her necklace.
I don't have a problem with that. I mean,
that's my point. I'm not saying for the teacher to sit there and teach a lesson. I'm not saying for the teacher to teach a lesson for a half an hour every day on Catholicism or atheists or Buddhists or Baptists. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying,
That's like my son. My son had a project, and it was your heritage. Mm-hmm. So they had to go in, and each kid stood up and talked about their heritage, and they brought something in from home or whatever that was a relic or something for their heritage, and and my son took in his grandmother's copper plate from Slovenia. So it talked about Slovenia and some of the foods that they recipes and stuff like that. He included stuff like that. That that would be just fine with me if a kid stood up and said, well, my family is from Israel, and or my family's from Saudi Arabia. Like you said, if the student is bringing something in for a project or show and tell or something like that, I don't have a problem with that. I just don't want the teachings from a teacher, because that's part of that student's heritage and culture. And I don't have a problem with other people sharing that heritage and culture. It's just that what I have a problem with is when something, like I said, it just pisses me off. This teacher has these kids made her a memorial, and it's not even in a public place or whatever. It's, and you got people bitching about an angel on a memorial, Well, that's fine. When one of your friends or coworkers dies or whatever, you can have a memorial for them and not have fucking angels on it.
Wait, wasn't it somewhere in Ohio where the Church of Satan wanted to erect a statue out in front of the courthouse or something next to the Ten Commandments? Or was that somewhere else?
No, that was, I think it was here. They did put up something because the town puts up a manger every Christmas.
Yeah.
All right.
The other church put up put up a satanic statue right next to it or whatever, and it stood.
All right.
I mean,
See,
it's like,
that's not what I was thinking about. I was thinking about I think it was out in front of like City Hall or a courthouse or something. They had a statue of the Ten Commandments, and the Satanists got to put up their little.
yeah, I don't know. That might be different, but
Jinn statue or something like that.
There was a town in Ohio that they did put up a temporary Satan decoration or whatever right next to the manger decoration that the town allows. What it is, the town, I forget what town it was, but they allow the certain church to come in and put a manger up right there on city property or whatever. So they had to allow the satanic church to put theirs up too, but it was all temporary. It wasn't,
Well, I don't, that fight happens here all the time too. Somebody puts up the nativity scene, and there's a big hoopla, and you know what? Who cares? Why would a nativity scene bother you?
That shit doesn't bother me at all.
I could give two shits less. And I was brought up Catholic my whole life, but I'm not saying it because I was. I'm just saying that it doesn't bother me, And I've said this 10,000 times that, I think the problem with like the Constitution is that you have people that'll pick it apart like it's a buffet, and they'll pick up the parts that they like, and that's it. Well, if you're a constitutionalist, then, or if you don't have to be a constitutionalist, you can just be someone that believes in the Constitution. It's you take it all. It's not a fucking buffet. You take it all. That means when all the skinheads are down south and everywhere else that they are, and they're marching and they're doing all that shit, okay? They pay their permits to march and have their protests and all that. Well, is it morally wrong? Well, that's up to the human being to think that. My opinion, yeah, it is morally wrong. However, lawfully, they have a right to fucking do it. And people say, oh, they can't do that. No, they most certainly can do it. Okay? People that served in the armed forces, people say, they'll have a high regard, and as I do, and they'll say, well, these people went over and fought all these people so we can have our freedom. I goes, exactly. I says, and unfortunately, at the same time, people like the skinheads get to do that shit. So you have to take the good with the bad, and people don't want to do that.
Yeah, I mean,
it sucks. Yeah, it's morally wrong. Yes.
See, I could really give two shits about religion, to be honest. Like, personally, I'm an atheist, maybe agnostic at times. I'm not gonna, I don't know. Yep. But, I'm completely against the schools in general. I'm not gonna have the fucking government raise my kid for 12 years. I'm not gonna force her to be homeschooled, but I'm not gonna force her to go to public school either.
Right.
But while I'm completely against the schools teaching any kind of religion or government teaching religion in general, I have no fucking problem. Just like you guys said, if another student decides to, or another peer, some kid her age is going to tell her about Jesus or tell her about Muhammad or fucking Buddha or whatever the fuck, I don't care. That's cool. I'll probably teach her about those things myself because, I'm definitely interested in religion, even being an atheist. I love history. I love studying all that shit. So,
to me, it's like being an open-minded person. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and like most of all the stories and everything that go along with most of these major religions are so similar. Like the 5 major religions all teach the golden rule, and they all have similar stories of creation, although some things are slightly different and everything, all that shit's interesting, and it's good to learn the different stories and beliefs to all the different religions. So when you come across these people, you know how to interact with them, and you know where they're coming from and different things like that. But as far as the government teaching it, fuck that.
You know, it's like I got a guy at work that he's always saying, you know, the fucking Muslims this, and the Muslims are a cause of this, and the Muslims are a cause of that. And as you know, I said, you really ought to change your wording. And he goes, why? He says, look what they fucking did on 9/11. Look at this, look at that, look at this, look at that. I goes, listen to me. You got to change your wording. He says, why? I says, because it's not the Muslims doing it. It's the extremist Muslims doing it. Okay? I said, that'd be like saying,
well,
I'm
Italian. It's not Muslims either. It's Islam.
Right. It's
Islam is the religion. Muslim is the race.
Is the right. And I said, and I go, that'd be like saying, you know, all Italians are fucking gangsters. You know, I said, you just don't do that. I said, because I'm fucking Italian and I'm not a gangster. You know, we're not all in the mob. I said, so, you know, before you start hating on somebody, make sure you know what you're hating on.
Yeah. Well, and people like to throw in the Quran says that they have to kill and destroy all non-believers. Well, so does the fucking Bible, man. Come on, read the Bible. You can fucking you can find that shit all over the place. Kill all non-believers. You know.
The other thing too is what a lot of people may not know is that you know Mary. Okay, if you're Catholic, everybody knows who Mary is, and even if you're not, most people do know who Mary is. Okay, her name is mentioned more in the Quran than it is in the fucking Bible.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know,
and you say that to the holy roly Catholics that okay. And I don't mean to make fun of them. I'm a Catholic. Okay, but you say that to the wrong ones. Oh, no, she's not. Really? Go read it, and then come back and talk to me.
Uh-oh. I just stepped away for a minute and came back, and we're into a...
Did we
go full blast religion now?
No, I was just saying that, no, Justin and I were just talking about stuff, and I was saying how Mary is mentioned more in the Quran than she is in the Bible.
Oh.
You know, and you talk to the wrong Catholic about that, and they're going to scream at you.
Oh, well, I mean,
you know,
I wasn't brought up Catholic. I was just brought up, Christian, I guess. I don't know.
Right.
I mean,
that's all good.
But it's you say something that you don't that you don't agree with Catholics, that they do something different. I mean, it seems like they'll jump on you about anything. My thing is, I got family members that would be like, blah, 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 this, and if there's a Muslim here, I'd kick them out. Well, that's not very Christian of you. You know what I'm saying? You're supposed to be a Christian. Right. You're going to kick other people out because of their religion.
Oh, dude.
You're not going to help somebody out because they're Muslim or whatever. I mean, like I said before, I don't agree with all religions. I have a very, very weird stance on religion. It's like, I'm weird, I guess. I have a faith, but I don't believe in religions. You know what I mean? I got you. You think organized religion has caused more havoc in this world than anything else, and I don't like organized religion.
Right.
But I have a belief in a higher power for some reason. I don't know what it is.
And
I can't explain my belief. It just, there's.
You believe that something else greater than you out there.
Right. I also believe I'm weird because I also believe out of all these solar systems and universes that we keep finding, that there's not another,
Earth
planet that can sustain human life like us. Or there's got to be something out there,
Yeah,
there's a bunch of guys sitting around on some other planet right now talking on Google instead of Google,
Right.
So something that I find that kind of gets under the skin of theists. Ohio, you were gone, but I'm pretty much atheist. Like I kind of go towards agnostic sometimes, but I just think it's kind of funny that God is an atheist. He doesn't believe anybody created him.
You
You know,
see, I do things like that with some people. Like I got some friends that are real religious, and they talk about homosexuality and you know
mhm.
all this stuff, and I'm just like, well, I say I don't have a problem with it. You don't have a problem with homosexuality? No, I don't. I mean, why not? Well, that's the way God made them. That pisses them off. When you tell them that God made that person homosexual, that just really pisses them off.
Uh,
But it's like they want to pick you know
yeah.
they want to pick certain things out of the Bible to live by. Like, homosexuality is abomination, and I'm like, well, if you plant anything other than if you plant two different crops at the same time or whatever, that was considered abomination too. So I'm gonna go out here and stone the hell out of some farmers. Are you with me? Let's go.
Right. And like people don't understand that back in the day that the Pope wasn't a very nice person. He had his whores and he had everything else too. So.
Yeah.
I mean, does he today? Probably not. But
No, maybe not horrors. He has a few little altar
they got
boys.
money. They got money up the arse.
I just don't think we should be in court suing over stupid shit. You know what I mean?
Exactly. It's
I mean,
and now you're wasting. You talk about it. People talk about wasting taxpayers' money. Holy shit! If that's not a waste of taxpayers' money, I mean, really. But I don't know.
it's like,
Sorry to the people in Sham. We got on that religious kick. But you know what? We did it, and look at that. Imagine that. And so I'm brought up Catholic, and yes, every once in a great while I still go to church with my kids and my wife. And as you just heard Justin say, he's atheist but leans sometimes towards being agnostic. And you just heard Ohio say that he believes in a higher power. And guess what? Justin didn't call me an idiot. Ohio didn't call Justin an idiot. I didn't say. Imagine that, huh?
well, I didn't call Justin an idiot per se, but I did throw something out there pretty harsh towards atheists.
Well, I'm just saying because I get tired sometimes of going to chats and hearing people down other people of what they are, or what they believe, and I just hate that. I really truly do. I hate it.
Okay, now I got to go on a serious rant.
Go ahead. Because you know what? I'm probably going to leave. Well, you guys can stay. But I'm probably going to leave in about 10 minutes. So go ahead.
We're supposed to get 6 to 8 inches of snow tonight, Saturday night, beginning at 8 or beginning between 8 and 10 p.m. is what they called for. It started snowing about 20 minutes ago, and I can't see my damn car. So.
Are you getting the rain?
No, I'm getting snow. I'm getting like huge, like whiteout, like blowing snow. Big,
see, I'm getting
like some huge ass flakes.
I'm getting
right now.
That means there's a lot of moisture.
Wasn't supposed to be here for another, 18 hours.
That means there's a lot of humidity in the air. Not that I'm a fucking weatherman or anything, but that's what I was told. We're supposed to get the snow, and then it's going to turn to rain at some point on Sunday, and then it probably, because it's going to be like 15 degrees to 20 degrees for a high on Monday, it might turn back to snow again.
That's going to be a wicked.
I think I did.
That's going to be a wicked pissa. You know that? It's going to be a wicked pissa up there.
All right, maybe I didn't upset him. He's laughing now. Okay, good. I thought I pissed off 01.
Huh? 01? No, man, 01.
I was hoping I didn't, because I like that man, so I don't want to piss nobody off. So, but that wasn't my goal. to piss anybody off.
What do you say? What one say? I'm so ready to go to another planet. You are all idiots. You're not intellectuals. Yeah. Never claimed to be an intellectual.
The hell to the no. I ain't an intellectual. You know, I couldn't. I'm gonna be honest with you.
That's a David Robertson quote. Anybody
Yeah.
who disagrees with him is an intellectual.
I couldn't. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't have that suave, that whatever the hell it's called, to hold my own with David. You know.
Hey, I believe.
Well-educated man, smart man, and I don't have it to hang with him, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
But you got to realize where he's at in his education and what he's talking about. You know, if I'm educated in neuroscience and that's all I talk about, of course I seem smart. But if you start asking me about auto mechanics, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. It all depends on where in the world you're standing in this country and what the topic is on how smart you seem. You know, if you take Mike out of Boston and put him in Nashville, Tennessee, and start talking about country music, he's not going to seem too smart on the subject, probably.
Yeah.
You know.
Considering I still call it, considering my nieces and my nephews and all of them, they're all into that. And here's how old I am, right? I went, I can't listen to that country western shit. And they all look at me, Uncle Mike, you're really old. I go, why? Because they don't call it country western anymore. It's just country. I'm like, oh, whatever.
Down here in Ohio, we like both types of music, country and western.
You know, I'm a 60s, 70s, 80s rock guy. You know, but I mean, I listen to the 50s too. But my favorites are the 70s and 80s rock.
Yeah,
I love it.
I don't listen to new country music. I like the older country music. You know, Waylon Jennings, George Jones, Merle Haggard, that kind of stuff, all the way up to George
Johnny
Strait.
Cash.
Yeah, I like that. I like 50s, oldies but goodies. I like 60s. Yep. I like 70s. I like classic rock. I like 80s. Yep. I like grunge. I like 90s.
I can do it all but rap.
I'm not a big rap fan, but I
hate rap.
I will listen to like your gimmick rap, or your ones that made it big on the radio, dance songs type, like Sir Mix-a-Lot and shit like that. I'll jam that, or a little, Baby Got Back or something like that. I'm okay with that. What do they call it? Suburban rap, maybe. I don't know. I'll rock out to some Vanilla Ice when the windows are rolled up and when I'll turn it down when I get to the intersection, but
Who's that old guy listening to Vanilla Ice?
But I like 9 Inch Nails and Typo Negative and
yeah. See, I didn't even know who 9 Inch Nails and Typo Negative is. I knew Vanilla only because of the news and all that shit and the kids. That's about it.
Oh yeah, he just got in trouble for stealing shit from these houses that he's renovating or something.
I'm a Zeppelin guy. Leonard Skinner, Eric Clapton, all those guys there.
All right, serious prepper question. If you only had one album to take with you on your bug out, what album would that be?
Wow. I don't know, probably be Def Leppard's.
You're going with the Def Leppard, eh?
Yeah, I'll probably be Def Leppard. Good morning. How are you?
Justin, what do you say? One album.
Yeah.
It's going to be some Five Finger Death Punch.
Five Finger Death Punch?
Yep.
Not a bad choice. See, I'm going with the classic again. I'm going to go with the classic. I think I would have to go with CCR's Chronicle.
CCR's good.
Just because there's every song on that album. I like every song on that album. There's a lot of good albums out there that you listen to like 8 out of the 10 or 12 songs on it that you really like. But that CCR, man, that Chronicle, I love every song on that album.
Oh, Kansas had a good one. Elvis Presley. Elvis Presley's good. Sabbath. You gotta love Ozzy.
Oh yeah, they're going to.
What the
fuck, BG? What's?
fuck, BG? What the 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 fuck, B Oh, I always
Ooh,
forget his
Black
name.
Flag. Ooh.
Um, oh, I can't think of his name. It's so early in the morning. I can't think of his name.
01 said, buy the book.
By the book. Yeah, but you missed the other one you said earlier. Oh, one, right? What you wrote before.
Oh,
Um,
I got this weird thing where I can scroll up and see. So
I don't know if you can go that far back when we're talking about the constitutional one. Stevie Ray Vaughan, another one.
ooh, yeah. See, now you got me wanting to change my mind.
I'm telling you, I love all that kind of
Thought I was
music,
good
man.
with Credence. I thought I was good with Credence, and now you got me wanting to change
You
my
know,
mind.
you know what I'm saying?
Talk about masturbation to the Constitution.
Yeah. Was that not funny?
I see no problem with that.
No, it's all in good fun. All in good fun. All right.
You should see
I
me
hate to
get
do
going.
this.
You should see me get going when I start reading the Federalist Papers.
um,
You
like I
gonna go
said,
ahead and kick it off?
well, I mean, it's going to shut off if I just leave you guys
You can
here.
go ahead. You
So,
can go ahead
I
and
mean,
get off the air and thank
all right.
everybody for
So,
coming out. I mean, how many?
Justin,
We
thanks
got
for
12
coming in,
people
brother.
watching.
Appreciate that a lot,
Hey,
dude.
if anybody out there watching wants to hop in for a few minutes on the after chat, I can probably stick around for a couple minutes. Ohio, I don't know if you're going to stick around, but
Yeah, dude, I'm sitting at work.
I'm,
I
I'm,
can stick around all night if I have to.
no, we can't.
right
But
on.
all right, so you want me to leave it open, or you're gonna start another one, Justin? What are you doing?
Oh no, yeah, just you can leave or whatever. It'll go off air, but I'm just telling anybody out there to comment in the chat, and I can drop them a link, and they can join us off air.
Okay. All right, you guys hear all that? All right, and so all you guys that are still in out here, Peachy, Doom Chaser, Jerry, 01, you're a freaking character, dude. Tommy boy, all you guys and gals, Kenzie, Johnny, you're still there. Thank you. Thanks a million for coming by tonight.
Oh
Ohio,
man,
thanks for your help again, man.
yeah. Dirty Dancing soundtrack. There, I changed my mind.
Dirty Dance. Kelly Parks, good to see you. I didn't know you were still here, hon. Thank you for coming.
Or watch some of those Disney movies, the Disney Beach movie or whatever soundtrack.
Yeah.
My kids
you
got
missed it.
that. They listen to that crap on their iPods. It's crazy.
Hey, you missed
I
it
could do
today. You
without
ready?
it.
I couldn't. The hat I'm wearing right now, I couldn't find this morning when I went to work. So my daughter says, "Hey, Dad." I go, "What?" She goes, "You can wear my hat." I said, "Where's your hat?" She goes, "Oh, Daddy's the Olaf hat." The what?
Oh, the snowman. Nice.
So I wear that to work. Olaf, that's his name, right?
Did you wear it?
Damn Skippy.
Yeah, that's a good dad.
10-year-old asked me to wear it. I wear it.
That's what you got to look forward to, Justin.
You know,
Right?
Cartoon character hats.
I got no problem with that.
Hey,
Oh, and
man,
Jacko too. Jack, thanks for coming in. I don't know why you didn't answer your link, but all right, you guys, I'm out of here. Have a good night. Have a good day, rather. And I'll talk to you all later.
Mike. All right, Mike. Thanks for doing the chat, bud.
Hey, anytime, guys.
Oh, yeah.
All right, later.
Is anybody out there that's wanting to jump in yet? Go off when this goes off air?
I didn't check.
Oh yeah, Jack of all trades. He said, "Give me and Peachy a link." No problem. I'll send it to their YouTubes. How's that?
Sounds good.
Come on now.
So you got them? I don't have to fuck with them.
Yeah, I got it.
All right, sweet.
Maybe I hate when Google won't let you look up. You know, you type their shit in and it gives me everybody but Peachy. It gives me Oily Prepper. It gives me, you know, everybody that she's connected with, but not.
Yeah, I'll get her. I got her pulled up right now.
You got her pulled up?
Yeah.
Let me see here. You know, I guess I could have just clicked on the outside chat. Duh.
Yeah, that's what I did. Hey, so I've been meaning to ask you, what kind of holster is that you were talking about before?
Well, I was going to try to. I've been ordering a lot, and they've been getting me pretty good deals.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to try to get you one of those. Did you see Peachy's holster that she won during the Jamie Time chat?
All right.
It's Outbags leather inside the waistband.
Oh, sweet.
It should be the exact same one she got because you have a Sigma, right? Sigma 9, or not Sigma, but a SD.
Yeah,
SD,
yeah, the
SD.
SD. Yeah, the newer version. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be basically a. They don't actually make them for that particular gun, but that gun fits the same holsters as a Glock 19. I think.
Yeah,
Or
and
maybe a Glock.
yeah, if it's the same as a freaking XD too. My Blackhawk is that I'm carrying right now is for an XD, but I don't know what their process is. It's probably a little bit different on that style holster. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Now I have a like a
But
neoprene.
yeah, but it's a Glock clone either way. It
Right.
should fit the Glock 19 because it's a Glock clone. So yeah. Yeah.
Now I have like one of those neoprenes, like either Uncle Mike's or Blackhawk inside the waistband, kind of fit just about anything you stick in it type ones.
Uh-huh.
I got one of those in my safe right now that I'm not using. If you want it, I'll send it to you. But if you want to wait till I can get a deal on these, like I said, I'll get one out to you. I mean, if you're in a hurry, I can get you that
Oh no, I'm not.
cheap old universal one. But if you know, if I get another promo code and get a deal, what I'll do is I'll use it and get one sent out to you.
Oh, all right. Right on. I see.
You buy
No,
so
I'm not.
much,
I'm not in any fucking hurry, man.
yeah, you buy so much shit and you get a promo code, and then you get stuff dirt cheap with free shipping. So that's how I figured I would hook you up
Oh,
if I
okay.
could.
Right on. Hell yeah. I appreciate it if you can. If not, I mean, it's
I'll do my darndest.
no big deal. I was just wondering about it. I wasn't
Yeah,
sure what kind of holster it was or nothing like that.
well, let me see.
You know, to be honest, I've been pretty comfortable just doing the open carry thing. You know, I kind of like doing it if I can kind of makes a point and stuff like that. But definitely certain parts of town I like concealed carry. I try not to open carry in the bad parts of town, places
I'll
where
put
I'm more likely to run into fucking trouble.
Here, I'll put Peachy's video link inside the internal there, and you can. That would probably be the one that you would get.